one.
Okay. There we go.
Katrina.
Baby. I'm affiliated. 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 I'm affiliated.
This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act in 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or purpose use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All rights and credit go directly to its rightful owners. No copyright infringement intended. Enjoy. Oh yeah, on your way out, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, man. This is the Argument League. Turn up.
Well, it's no shine in the tail.
Snapping off film.
Yeah.
Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born,
Yeah,
united front.
tell it.
What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What
Yeah.
you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck, or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost, or ran away. But when you're square, solid, and your circle too, you don't need a place for solace. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity. Tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick your can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, y'all got forgive me, I'm kinda shy. This is my first time doing this. I don't do lives.
Hey,
So
it's the first time for everything.
Oh,
I'm gonna need y'all to help
congratulations.
me.
Hey, sis.
Okay, so it's live now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I basically told him I wanted to do this because men talking about women being raped, I'm getting kind of sick of that.
You too?
So I wanted for women to talk about it, like myself. I've been through it. Talk about the little girl and how it affects your life. Um. Okay, so I will start off with my situation, I guess. Um, my parents met, had me. They broke up when I was 2 years old. That which caused me to go to my father's house on the weekend, my grandmother's house, stuff like that. One particular time I went over there. and we was at my auntie's house. I'll say I was about 9. Can't remember exactly, but 9. We lived in Chicago, Illinois, so my dad and them, they was outside drinking, dancing, music. Got friends over. I remember going to the store. My auntie said she was gonna take me to the store, and I remember the man walking behind us. But I was a kid. I'm going to get candy and stuff. I'm not pay him no attention. Um, so I would say on the way back, I remember like a graze. I would say on my body, but we walking, so I can't say he touched my booty. Just turn around and say that. So later on in the evening, I remember sitting on the couch and they was outside, and I remember him coming in there. And my auntie house, like you could see her front, but it was like a wall where you had to walk around the wall in order to really see everything. Um, I remember he asked me, "What you watching?" or something like that, and I thought he walked back out the door, but I never heard the door shut. I remember him grabbing my mouth. I smelled his breath smelled like liquor. Um, I want to say he wasn't able to do nothing that long because everybody was outside. But I remember when he got off me and went outside. I didn't move until I heard the door shut. When I heard the door shut, I ran in the bathroom. And my daddy used to call me Nunu. So my auntie, I remember hearing her call me walking through the house. She was Nunu, and she was like playing, like, "Where you at?" And when she came to the bathroom, I was in the bathroom crying, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" Picked me up, took me in the front, and I just kept saying that man. And she called my daddy and my uncles. They came inside. My daddy grabbed me and took me outside. He said, "Which one?" And I just looked at the man and started crying. Um, they began to jump on him, beat him up, stuff like that. But I can remember, like I say, still today, that smell. It caused me to not really trust people, men, really, I would say. Um, so that's my story, and I can understand what the little girl is going through. That's why I want to talk about her situation and how it, caused people life not to be the same. I would say that. So, anybody else want to go? Devaya?
Hello. Peace, ladies. Yeah, I am very, very sorry to hear. This is very dear to me because my story uh, is more so with my sister. My mom has 7 kids, 2 girls. My sister is a year and a half older than I am. We came to America and she adapted um very fast. She's the one that would sneak out the house while I'm inside doing homework. She's the one that would sneak out the house, right? But she got caught up in a situation where she was missing for a little over 2 years. We couldn't find my sister. Come to find out, at this time I think I was in California. And when I came back, I got the whole story. We were searching but couldn't find her, come to find out, they busted the same thing. This is, I mean, this thing is very dark. The exact same thing that we are witnessing right now. this same ring, I mean, not saying this same ring, but this same activity has been going on for so long, and it has been in communities, and people were never saying anything, you know. And they held my sister captive for a little over 2 years in a house from the age of 13 to 15 with, and not just her, a bunch of other young women. And that's all they did. Just had them locked up. They couldn't go outside. They couldn't leave, and had them and just bringing in the men. And they were just making the money off of the women, you know. And the only way my sister got saved was the whole ring got busted at that time. And that's when we found, and come, and guess what? The bloody thing is literally like 6, 7 blocks from where we were living, you know. And it's like she was so close, but yet she was so far, you know. But so yeah, so and we're gonna get things out, but we definitely gonna jump back on that freaking accusation by this tongue swelling Japanica who went and calling out our names and calling, saying what, that I'm a child molester, you know, not just me but other women. It's like, yo, we have to touch on that as we continue, please. Let's not forget that. Let's call them out.
I would like to see the police reports and the witness statements for these allegations that they're making, while they're not talking about Polite, who clearly has 3 charges on the Miami-Dade County Clerk's website, which is an official government website. But you send up here calling people pedophiles. I don't even have so much as a speeding ticket, dude. The most you gonna find is a failure to completely stop at a stop sign, and you got the nerve to sit up here and call somebody a pedophile. How dare you? Why did you run off to Japan? Why won't you come back to the States? We can sit up here and speculate all day, and I bet you my speculations will catch on before yours will. Brother, please, don't try to conflate the situation that's already going on with
Come on, Melinda.
all these allegations for no reason.
No, I was telling Melinda to come on.
And he doing this at the behest of Sinetta. Okay, you want to get on the mystical nasty couch that much?
Well, yeah, that's one thing I was saying from the beginning. I believe from Sinetta starting to talk about solar and everybody else was to protect the light. Nobody have said that I've heard said nothing to him like they've been doing everybody else.
Yeah, let's talk
And
about
that's not even right.
charges. Let's talk about the assault with a weapon. Who's you beating on? I mean, I know drug dealers sometimes get down and get dirty, but all these can't be from that home. If you want to talk about charges, because pull my name up all day every day, and you ain't finna find nothing. Nothing. So how dare you? You must not know how. For Judah the so-called have went to law school, he sure as hell don't know how the law works. If you calling mass bunches of people pedophiles because we calling you out on your shit.
Judah didn't go to any law school. These guys proclaim all these stuff. They're master teachers, they're Torah keepers, they're all of this. First of all, there's
Reckless
nobody.
endangerment, serious injury with a weapon, criminal possession of a weapon, fourth firearm charge, serious injury. These aren't little charges, Sinetta, while you sending out your minions to do your dirty work.
Yeah, but like I was saying too in the beginning, all that don't matter to me. When you a kid and you do stuff and you not looking at, oh, let me not do this because I'm going to be this on this. You don't know that as a
Yeah,
as
but
a kid.
in Never's case, his last charge was in 2003. He was a whole grown man. This ain't something he did way back in the day as a kid. He was already grown, been grown, had kids, been married, then been in jail already. Didn't he say he bit somebody's nose off or something like that? Why ain't nobody talking about that? But they running around calling Sinetta.
Wow.
But they running around calling people pedophiles. What is getting to me is the caping for a potential predator in our midst. You want to sit up here and say, you want to sit up here and call your subscribers family, but just like we know families do, is shh, don't tell nobody. Bump that. Tell it. Why do you have to suffer? Why does the victim have to suffer and the predator gets to go on and live their life like nothing happened?
And that was my point of this, to talk about the victim. I don't even know Sinetta, never been a part of his whatever they do. I only know Napa because she was disrespecting my man, and I had to, straighten her ass out. But I don't give a fuck about
She
them.
called me a whole man.
Yeah, she done said things about me too. I
She called
mean,
every black woman she come up with. If she can't come up with nothing else, she gonna call you a man. If she can't dispute what you saying, you a man. And then if you continue to dispute her, then you become a specific man. It's like, girl, go. That's what you tried and failed to know. Next.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Um, I was thinking about the little girl, and I heard somebody say something about find her, and like I don't think that should happen. Like leave her alone. If people don't know her name and all that, she don't
You
need to
know what?
be.
Somebody put up a video talking about they done found the victim, but they went and found what they did was found an old video about either riot or Renante. I didn't even bother to watch it after I figured that out. But yeah, leave that child alone.
Yeah,
If
she
I know
already.
that she is, I ain't spoke on it. But they want to pull that up. Why are you gonna sit up here and pull up this girl and try to drag this child, literal child, adolescent, preteen, if you want to call her that? Why do you want to drag her and her mother when all she did was allow him to take her downstairs to dinner?
Right, and like I said, until the whole story come out, I can't judge her or say nothing
They
about her.
say Polite is innocent until proven guilty, but they
Why
done
she
drug this
didn't take her
child and his mother through
downstairs?
the mud.
But I'm saying, why she didn't take her downstairs?
From what I heard, she was in the shower and the little girl was hungry and she didn't want to wait. So he said he'd take her downstairs because the group was downstairs. But when they got down there in the lobby, he told her they had already left for the club for the after party. So then he drove the girl there and the club was closed. So then he said, "Oh, we'll go back to my hotel and I'll call and see where they at." And that's where everything happened. And the whole time, from the time that lady got downstairs and saw her daughter wasn't there until she actually got to her daughter, she was calling Polite. "Where's my child? Bring me my child."
And then one thing I know, especially now today, every kid has a cell phone. So if they was going in a different direction, she didn't have a phone. Like I'm trying to understand that part, but like I said, it don't matter what he did to her was wrong. It don't matter the situation
A
or none of
38-year-old man and a 14-year-old child. If she has a phone, isn't there a possibility that he took it?
true.
I mean, he called the mother. The mother called him. Obviously, she couldn't get in touch with her child because she kept calling him. So all I know is it took them 6 months to charge him. 6 months for them to get that rape kit and to match their DNA. Because if that DNA didn't match, they wouldn't have charged him. Because that's the key point in the evidence right there. That's that slam dunk. So yeah, nah. For somebody that's allegedly done this before and more than once, you don't get this much leeway. You don't get this much leeway while everybody else get toe bones drug out the closet when you got a whole skeleton.
Yeah, true. That's why I said I wanted to do this because, like, Swab Boss and brothers like Anonymous and stuff that been on their neck. I appreciate that, but I'm sick of a rack of bitches talking about women getting raped. So, hey, Melinda.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes.
Peace, Melinda.
Hello there.
Hey,
Do I have an echo?
no.
Okay, oh good. Okay. I just came in, so I missed some of it, but I guess what I wanted to kind of come in and lead with is that what's happening now is, I think, a kind of a cultural shift, because I I would say we've been in the community, at least maybe where I come from, letting some of this stuff slide, these behaviors, with this kind of protection of the community, not letting the airing out your dirty laundry type of stuff come out. And so there is a shift. Things are turning, and that's the only way we're going to change some of this. I think that some people are still feeling like we're betraying our people by telling the truth. But if you don't dredge up the bad and the criminal from our community, because where I'm from, we'll have people in the pulpit who committed crimes against children. They've never been brought to justice for it, and then they can just quote change their lives around, and now they're a deacon or they're a pastor, and we just let it go. But the victim, people will still be talking about the victim and letting the hurt go.
Instead of blaming the predator, they blame the victim every time.
Yes. Yeah. But I had a question, because sometimes I'll scan, and I went to, I hate to say the person's name, but I went to Judah's channel. I just have a question. Why are they just lying like this? This is my, I mean, what's the game? Because to me, it's almost like there has to be a benefit. I mean, just obscene lies.
They're trying to make everybody
that's all I see.
polite and views.
Wow.
It's and these, you know what's funny? These are the same ones who go around shouting that word, oh, you're just a clout chaser, you're just a clout chaser. And they are the biggest clout chasers of all that we know.
That's deflection.
Deflection, distraction. There's a whole lot of stuff going. We don't know what's being talked about behind the scenes. We don't know if money is being exchanged behind the scenes. Hey, man, listen, can you slow down talking about me and this and that? I'll throw you a couple of bucks, We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but all we can do is we can witness it. We can see it and hear it with our own eyes. Who is for righteousness is, who is for the children? Who is for righteousness? We can see it and hear it. We don't need a judge to tell us that. We are the judges. That's,
Sister Divine, I have a question for you.
I'm sorry?
I have a question for you. Do you think, for Sister Divine?
Yes.
Do you think there's a quote? I mean, I'm and I won't keep on this for long, because I know people get with the Bible and stuff. I'm just saying, when it says judgment comes to the house of Israel first, do you think that some of this is a threshing out, kind of where we have to deal with stuff in the Black community? Because personally, I believe that Negroes are the biblical descendants of the biblical Israelites, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to, because I know people have different beliefs. I'm just wondering, because it seems like this is unlike anything I've ever seen, where there's like a exposing of all this stuff, where it's just all coming out.
It's funny you said that, because actually this was a topic that I mentioned last year when I was fishing to a couple of my fishing buddies. We always talk about the scriptures. And I said, watch, you're going to see a lot of things coming out with rape. You're going to see a lot of people. Actually, I was saying this before the whole Epstein thing came out. I said, you're going to see a lot of exposure coming out with, because the scripture, when you just get into it deeply, especially into the Hebrew scripture, you can almost see the map. It's like a wavelength. You can see like the events of things like going around in a circle, and it's going to come around. It's going to happen again. It's like we never learn. And when are we going to learn? So this is something I actually spoke to Nails the other day, One Nails One the other day about. We were speaking and this same topic, and I told her this. I said, listen, the scripture says When this thing, we're in the end times, when this thing starts unfolding, he says, I'm going to start with the house of Israel first
Right.
and start exposing it. And as it exposed, I'm telling you, this thing, that's why you think he went to Hollywood. This thing ties deep, so deep into Hollywood. So what I'm praying for, what I'm hoping is this is the moment in time where, yes, he's starting with the house of Israel and all these people, you notice they're telling on themselves just by the things they say and the things they do not say, right? And it's going to be leading, they're going to find out this thing is a ring. And let me tell you, this ring leads all the way to Hollywood, and you're going to see some very, very, very high profile names coming out. And it has to go from there because there it's going to spread and reach and start pulling down all the white faces. You understand what I'm saying? It's hard to pull down the white faces, but the blacks who have tied themselves into that ring,
It's like
once
they're on
they
the front
start,
lines. They don't realize they're
there you
being made the scapegoat.
exactly. They are exactly.
Yes.
They are basically like the hip hop rap singers that are out there singing about bitches, thoughts and drinks and and mollies and whatever. They are these. They are the freaking the recruiters. They are the recruiters for Hollywood. They are the recruiters for. Why do you think every single what you call it politician, you know what they all have? A SAG card. They have a SAG card and they have an AFTRA card. I know that because my son has been an actor since he was 7 years old. He
Is
has
that
a
the
SAG
guild?
card and an AFTRA card. What's that?
Is that the guild? The guild?
Yes, the Screen Actors, Guild.
Okay.
Every single politician holds a SAG card. How do you think? Remember Ronald Reagan? Ronald
He
Reagan
started out as
was
an
what?
actor.
A Hollywood man making movies. And then what they need? They needed the actor to come in there and act as president. All of them are actors. Their speeches, they rehearse it. These are actors playing a game with a pedophile ring and every single thing that the scripture, the Most High told us and warned us about. That's why I love to read it, because like I can see the things unfolding that he told us to look out for these things, and you know when the time is near. So yeah, I think the house, start with the house, and I'm happy. I'm happy about it because 2/3 of these mother effers out here, we are wicked.
Do anybody know signs of a pedophile?
You know, let me
Pedophiles
see.
perch themselves in places where children are, positions of power where children are. Like you're gonna find pedophiles at school, you're gonna find pedophiles at the church, you're gonna find pedophiles that are coaches. You know, you go anywhere that you can find
It's
a
like
child.
the signs, though. Like the signs. Like how do you look
Right,
at
like the sign.
Yeah, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
A pedophile is gonna be over friendly to a child. That's first off. They're gonna be like, they're not when you groom a child. When a pedophile grooms a child, they don't start with the child. They start with the parent.
Yes.
They start
They
with
have
the
to gain
parent
the
and
parents'
they get you
trust.
used to certain behaviors. If you want to know how pedophiles operate, there's a documentary called Open Secret. That's the one. Remember that guy sued the guy that directed X-Men? Yeah, he was like the director for X-Men.
Okay.
This guy sued him because when he was like 16, they flew him to Hawaii and promised him a role in X-Men, and like 2 or 3 of them, they got him high, and 2 or 3 of them molested him. But the documentary, they actually talked to a pedophile, like one of these pedophiles in Hollywood. And the guy is just like open about, yeah, we used to do this stuff.
So right, that's why I'm saying like signs, because somebody being friendly is not. I get what you're saying, the over friendly part, but you know, being friendly would not be just an alert.
They gonna groom the parent long before they ever start on the child, and it's subtle. That's why you can't say, oh, you can look for A, B, and C and you're going to find a pedophile. No, you just have to be aware. Things that you wouldn't allow, things that you normally wouldn't allow somebody to do, like, okay, take a preacher, for instance. What did they used to do? They used to come every Sunday and they would have dinner at the house. And then, oh, I'll take little Peter over here, such and such, and I'll take him there. You don't need to go somewhere with your child. But
Right.
rather than looking out for a pedophile, teach your child that nobody, no matter who they are, should have access to their body. Because their body is their body. This is what I tell my children. That's yours, and you don't have to give it to nobody, no matter what position they're in. That's your choice.
Right. And see, like one of my things is I don't like kids, like girls sitting on no man lap. I don't care if it's your daddy. I don't like seeing no little girl sitting in between a man's lap.
Yes,
So,
that image. Yes,
Yeah, in
yes.
the public bathrooms, one nails, because one little boy in Walmart, his mom let him go to the bathroom. He was like 5 or 6, and there was a pedophile in the bathroom, and he raped the little boy. That was a couple of years ago.
Yes, and the father beat him up really badly and wasn't charged when the boy told him, right?
I think so.
Yes. That
See
I
that?
remember that bathroom issue, and I know when Trump came in, he reversed it, but Obama
No, that was
implemented
long
that.
before they started doing the gender neutral bathrooms. That was long before that.
Oh wait, okay. Oh, I see.
He had went into the men's room, and there was a man in there because his mom let him go in there by himself.
Oh, so this is a
And he
different
got
case.
raped in there. And then I guess somebody else walked in, and the guy ran off or whatever. Ain't nobody blaming on men.
Now, see, my youngest son is 25 years old. And like I said, he started acting when he was 7 years old. So every single day, we're in the Manhattan, we're in the city every single day. And when he had to use the bathroom, I always I wait till the men's bathroom will clear out, or if there are one or two, I always say, excuse me, gentlemen, and and I made sure I was always in that man's bathroom, or I would take him to the women's bathroom if it was completely empty. I have
That's right.
never let my kids go into a bathroom by themselves. Never, never.
Now they have those family
peace to Sister
family
Soul and
bathrooms.
Amber Ass.
Hey, peace.
Peace and love, sister.
Hey,
How y'all doing?
peace, sister.
Hey, good to
Hey,
see you guys.
babe.
Yay. Yeah. Now they have like those family bathrooms, where you can bring in your whole family, which I appreciate. But yeah, since I don't have any little girls, it's interesting listening to these conversations. But when even my youngest child is 9, and like I said, I don't even allow him to go to the restroom. And like Devania, I bring my son into the restroom if my older boys are not there. Otherwise, my older boys will bring him to the restroom.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
it's too scary.
yeah.
And these kids are so trusting. They have no idea what's going on.
Excuse me.
You know what it is for
Yeah.
me? When
I was about to say, and that's why I think they target kids like that too, because they really don't understand what's going on. Go ahead, Devanya.
No, I was gonna say, I guess for me, a lot more stuck to my head because when I came to this country in 1975, around that time they were having the milk cartons with child missing. Now when I sit back and all those memories of those children missing in my head, I think about the pedophile rings now. It's like, is this what was going on when these children were on the milk cartons? You understand what I'm saying? So that image always stuck to my head. So when I had kids, I kept them very close to me. My 2 boys,
Well, they started America's Most Wanted because Adam Walsh's son was abducted and they never found him.
Yes.
Adam was the son. Adam was the son. He was the boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. John was his dad.
And they tried to blame it on the black guy that I really don't believe he did that. I
Right.
believe it was all a plot and a plan to, bring out certain things to cover up a lot of those pedophilia rings that were going on back then. Because back then, this stuff had already been going on. And like now, how we've been exposed to it with all these different actors, actresses, singers. They put all these people, these big names in. These people were doing these things back then, like the sis said. But what happened is they were able to cover it up more because people didn't think these things were going on. They had so many times where they had people with the kids missing, and it's like,
Yeah.
how do you know that all these kids are missing and nothing is going wrong? They just
Like,
missing, disappearing, and they kept it like it was. Oh, loud, let's put them on a milk carton. Like this one child came up missing out this area. Oh, we're so shocked when they know what's going on a lot because they've been doing the organ harvesting and they had been doing the sex trafficking with these children.
but then you have things like the Franklin cover up and what was it? The daycare satanic ring, the satanic
Mhm.
what they call the satanic panic today. But yeah, this has been going on at hither and yon and places, and they always cover it up. But this is a new age. This is the age of social media. You can get stuff right out there live. They can't cover things up like they used to anymore. So things are being brought to light. And somebody told me that we are no longer in the dawn of the age of Aquarius. It is now the age of Aquarius, and everything is going to be revealed, whichever way you may go.
Exactly. Exactly. There you go. You said the dawn of Aquarius.
Well,
However
it's
we
no
may
longer
call
the
it.
dawn; it's here. It's
Right.
here now.
Exactly.
I have a
Right.
question
So
about that.
okay.
Yeah.
I have a question about the when we talk about like the age and dawn of Aquarius. Does that mean that's something that's been like it's on a cycle, like it comes back again? Because if that's the
Well,
case,
it's like the astrological, like each age is basically like Aquarius is an astrological sign, so it's 12 or 13. So it just keeps going around in that cyclical manner.
because I would think that, I mean, again, like I said, I guess it's dependent on our different belief
But the
systems.
ages are
This will have
different.
to end. This can't just keep, going because it would do nothing. We find out
Right.
information, we know it, and
I
then what?
started out saying a friend told me this isn't my belief. This is something from Afro Unu.
Okay.
But I talk to everybody, but I keep
Yeah.
what I believe out of it most of the time.
Yeah.
That way you get more information. But
Understood.
that's why I say either way you talk about it though, because each different set of religion, this time right here, is spaced out to be a revelation. That's
Peace,
funny.
Miss Ready we read.
But
Hey,
if it
Whitney.
reveals, it needs to end though. It's kind of like once it's revealed, at some point something needs to be
To
ousted.
give.
Something needs to
Yeah.
be. It needs to stop because I just thought
Yeah,
about
but
something.
it's not necessarily on our time. See, that's what everybody wants it to go on our time. But when they say age, they're not talking about an age in our time. That's a dawning of this certain age for the entire everything of being.
And now
But I
we're
think what her question is that at the end of this age, the unveiling, is there going to be another cycle of the 12 zodiac
if you
signs?
go by the Bible, it says no man knows the day nor hour.
No,
So
I'm not talking
if you
about
go
this
by,
time. I'm not talking about this time. I'm talking about going through the cycle again, all the 12, 13 signs again.
I don't know if it's the first cycle or the second cycle or the third cycle. That's what I'm saying. That's not my bailiwick right there. Well, he just happened to mention it in passing because I was talking about this situation and I said it's kind of freaky, that all these people are laying down like dominoes. And he was like, "This is what's supposed to happen." But we supposed to talk, but he been busy, so I don't know the whole deal. So I couldn't tell you.
From my understanding, Sister Soul and I were speaking about this a few days ago, and from my understanding, what I'm getting when you're reading the Hebrew scripture, yes, this cycle, day one, when it says day one, that was, just think of it like world one. There was 6,000 years of blah blah blah. Man became blah blah blah. Then there was judgment. Then there was a 7 day of rest, and then it happened again. Day two, day three, day four, day five. according to the scripture, from what I'm getting in Hebrew, we are in day 6. This is world 6 if you have to speak. And the cycle comes again because man, it gets to a point when it gets to that around that 6,000 year point, we reach our peak with knowledge. We start flight. We're with everything. I mean, we have cell phones. We can see the world just sitting in our apartment,
So then,
with a screen
Devania.
in front of us. So
So
destruction will come because judgment will come upon the earth. And yes, there will be lives of every single person, all races will be saved. The Most High will be saving races from when people try to say only Israel is going to be saved. No, the Most High said, I preserve
144,000.
all creatures.
Okay.
He said, I preserve all nations, but the Israelites, we were the ones he made the covenant with, and we were the ones who were supposed to set the tone. Look at all the thing that's going on now with the rape. Rape has been going on for so long. You have the NAMBLA organization and everything in America. No white people have ever stand up arguing about rape and arguing about children being. No
Well,
white people have ever stand. But
you
look
have
at
to
what
think
we're doing
about it.
now. Look at what our people are doing now.
Boy rape
We're the
has been
ones
a
standing up
thing
for it now.
for centuries.
And that's what
The
I'm trying
European
to
institution.
put it out to say, so people can look for the signs of it. Like I hear
There are no
everything y'all talking about, but
there are
I'm
no
trying.
like obvious signs like you can say that's a pedophile. Besides, if it's a pedophile that's already been caught, they're gonna be on a sex offender list, and you can always you can find that information for free in your area. Like they'll do it by street, county, state, however you want to do it. But there's no standard definition and say you can look for this and that's a pedophile. I can tell you where you can find pedophiles most of the time. I can tell you how they gonna groom you as a parent, how they gonna set you up to let them molest your child, whether you know it
Okay.
or not.
What you mean
But
groom
I
the
can
parent?
that's
Sis,
before they
you
ever
have an
touch.
echo.
Hold on, let me
Huh?
turn it down.
CC, CCC,
Is that better?
CCC, TV. You have an echo, sis.
Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, so if what I mean by groom the parent is when they meet you, it's like they're going to
Still
start.
an
What grooming means is it means they get you used to a certain pattern of things. So like when
They
they
love
do
bomb. They love
do
bomb.
whatever they do to the child, then if the child comes, like take the preachers in the Catholic Church for example, they used to take the boys off and say they were taking them off as altar boys. So they'd have them for days and hours and whatever, and the whole time they're molesting these children. But before they did that, they came in and they went to the family and they had dinner with them every Sunday and they prayed with them and all this other stuff. And then they went about grooming the child.
But ain't that the mother to trust? Like, okay, I would say
And
me
that's in a
myself.
two parent household. But see, that goes down to religion because they're taught not to question these people. See, this goes all the way back because child rape has been practiced since the beginning of time and it's been institutionalized in a way because the when you send your child off to learn a craft way back when, more than likely when you sent your child off to learn how to be a blacksmith, that blacksmith was snuggling up with that child at night. That was just the system. And they used them until they became masters in the craft and went on to do the same thing. The boys that was sent off, they might have segregated the boys from the girls in Europe and sent them to school, but at the boys' school, the older boys were molesting the younger boys. This is a learned behavior. They sat up there and they cut off priests and said they had to be chaste. So they went with children because children are pure. And it's always some kind of justification. But
Right.
people have been speaking up about this a little bit more.
Miss Whitty, did you want to say something? I think she dropped off. Sister Soul,
Yes, babe.
you want to say anything?
Oh yeah, I kind of did. I'm hearing so much y'all talking about. I want to touch on when it come to that grooming thing too. we got to remember the sisters. We get put in these positions sometimes because it's like being a single mom, right? And then these guys come around. It's like, oh, I would like some help, and this, and that with women. These women that feel like, oh, I got to have a man around to help me. I got to have a man around to be sufficient. I got to have a man around to do this. Not saying it in a way of you don't want to have a man around or there's something wrong with that. But a lot of women be so dependent on having a man around, they don't even notice certain things. They don't notice like the guy coming around, he wanted to be around the kids all the time, or oh, what the kids doing, and trying to be real extra friendly with the daughter, and being extra friendly with this one, and like she said, taking them off here and there. And they're like, oh, they really care. They're taking the role of the dad and this, and that. But it's not his role. This is not the father of your child, so he should not be taking the position of the dad, taking that child off, having all this extra time to themselves, all these things. A lot of times people are looking for signs and thinking like, oh, this guy's cool. He's not a perv or whatever, because they looking for these signs. Sometimes these signs are so subtle or just basically covered up that you don't even see the signs or be aware of them. And a lot of times what it is, people are thinking like, oh, this sick pervert, this freak, I got to look at some freaky nature or some this, and that. A lot of these perverts, freaks, and pedophiles, they don't even do it for the sexual gratification. They're doing it just for the power of this child,
Yes.
so that they can abuse this child, so that they can take something from them mentally, breaking their spirit because they have evil natures within them, because they know that they're going to tamper with this child's mind for the rest of their life, and they know they have control over that. A lot of these people are sick in more ways than just a sexual perversity. It's a lot of evil and it's a lot of different things going on. So we got to be looking for the signs of people that want to be too involved with our kids. Like the sister said, the Catholic Church, they're like, yeah, he's the altar boy. Come on, he's doing it. Oh, it's the pastor. I can trust my pet. You trusting them because what? They a pastor, so they have a title, and now because they have this title, they're so trustworthy, and you don't even know this person other than they're leading a church supposedly. Yeah, people are too
Right.
often in these things. We got to be more in tune with ourselves and with the kids. We be thinking like the kids are gonna just, oh, something going on, my kid gonna come to me. I'm close to my kid. We got this type of relationship. This, you know what I'm saying? But we don't even understand, no matter how close you might be with your child, if they feel a certain type of way about something that's happened to them, in their mind, they're diminished or they've been threatened, they're not gonna tell you. I don't care if what you tell them, if somebody has put it in their mind that if you tell somebody I'm gonna kill your whole family, this, and that, kids don't know how to reason like, oh, if I tell mommy, they're gonna protect me and this person going to jail and I'll be good. They're gonna believe what that person said. They're not gonna take a chance on their mommy and daddy getting killed or their brother and sister getting killed, or you know what I'm saying? These sick people really distort these kids' minds and have them in a lot of fear sometimes. So this is how they get away with this stuff as well. So it's just a lot. I don't want to talk too much, sis, but I want to say
Okay.
that.
I'm gonna go to Miss Whitty because she been waiting.
I think she said something was wrong with a mic.
Oh, y'all mean me?
Miss Whitty.
Oh no.
Okay. Anybody else can go while she coming back in.
Okay, the other thing is if your child has been sexually contacted like that, they won't say anything, but they'll lash out in
Your
some type of way.
echo.
Is that
I
me?
think everybody needs to mute out. Yeah, everybody should mute out when someone's talking because I don't know whose it is. But yeah, there's a bad echo. Okay.
Okay. So if a child has been sexually contacted like that, they're usually going to lash out in some type of way. They might not tell you verbally, but there are signs even down to an infant.
I agree with that.
Yes, sis. When you just said that, you just reminded me of something. When my mom passed back in 2000, I had a friend. She was helping me with my kids because I had to go see what was going on with her house and all this other stuff. So I remember being down there. My baby girl called me. At the time, she was 12, almost 13, and she was so upset and she was crying. She's very intuitive and she's she read people. Let me just say that. She had dreams, she see all kind of stuff. But either way, she called me. She was crying so bad. She said, Mommy, I ain't gonna say the girl's name. She said such and such is about to let the baby go. with the grandparents. She said, Mommy, something wrong, something wrong. So I'm like, what's going on, baby? What's going on? She was like, the baby kept crying. She said, the way she was crying, Mommy, she said, it's something going on. She said, that man was sitting, which was the baby's great uncle. So my daughter was telling me how the uncle was in the back seat, and she said it was something about the way the man was looking. She just felt weird about it. And she said the way the baby was crying and crying, and then the grandma was like, come on, come on. Now, mind you, this petrified my baby, where she literally called me while I'm handling my business out of town to tell me about this. Like maybe I'll say 8 months, 9 months later, right? Come to find out, this man had been molesting this baby since she was a little baby. The baby started talking. So when she started talking, she was saying she didn't want to go. She didn't want to go because he was doing stuff to her. And then they end up finding out that he was literally molesting this baby, had been molesting her since she was probably months old. Who knows? He had like some kind of little mental issues, and the grandmother was letting him watch the baby while she go here or there, I guess, or whatever, even though he got a mental issue. And he was molesting this baby this whole time, and the mom didn't even notice this, and it was something that was apparent, like you said, the signs of these kids. My baby noticed it. She was like, Mommy, that baby was crying. She said something is wrong, something is going on over there. But the mom ended up sending her, but they didn't find out till months later that this was going on. But these, like you said, them kids, the fear, and you would think, oh, maybe they're a little mean and the kids scared of them. And you don't know. It'd be all kind of signs. We just got to be watching our kids and not having other people care for them, which is a big thing. We be in such positions sometimes where we need somebody to help us, or we this and that. This is why when we're in these single family households, we struggle so much, because it's like you be dependent on people to give you a little support or whatever if you can't do it yourself. But women have to be strong enough to not do that, because putting our kids in the care of others, they're not going to give the care that you give. They don't care like you do. They don't care like even some family members. This was this girl's uncle. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be really careful with our children and making sure they're safe and at home a lot of times, because even with some family members, they might not be all that safe.
True.
I have a question. I kind of have an opinion of it already, but ladies, do you think if we shifted the culture to the extent that we hold, especially like men and women, accountable, that marriage and or commitment to a family, commitment to a woman, and commitment to raising your children is looked at as that? I mean, that you have to do that's a must, and that men would hold other men accountable. Like, being married is a good thing. Being married gives you respect. It's people look at you and they tend to trust you. If we had that, I think we'd have less vulnerable women who then have vulnerable children. But if we keep looking at our situations and no one thinks anything of it, it's kind of like there's no change.
Yeah, Daniel, you're right. It's women molesters too. But like, these signs go both ways, men and women, the ones I'm talking about. I'm not talking about men specific. It's just, it's more prevalent with men than it is with females, even though females do it. Not saying they don't.
But
But it's more
intact
documented
families,
with
do
males.
you think that intact families and men holding each
But
other
even
accountable?
in intact families, Uncle Leroy, don't nobody want to get near Uncle Leroy at the party, because Uncle Leroy a pervert and he gonna do something nasty, and don't nobody want to tell because grandma gonna get mad. Now it happens in intact families too. We're not gonna sit up here and throw single mothers under the bus.
I wasn't.
We're not gonna throw nobody under the. Everybody has to take accountability at the end of the day.
That
goes
is true.
for mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, all relations.
Would you say that we are more vulnerable, though? That's my question. Would you say that we are more vulnerable because of the fractured families?
No.
Yes.
I would say yes too, because
it's not a blame, sis. I promise it's not a blame. I'm just saying that we've changed. The culture has changed so much that women don't even see that they feel like they deserve to have a husband and a protector, and men might look at the women as kind of disposable, and that they don't have to really commit. So back, a long time ago, like my great grandparents, my grandparents, most of those people, what I saw, they were married. It didn't have to be perfect, but it seemed that there was those children seem to be insulated, kind of like um,
And more of a barrier of protection.
there was a barrier of protection. And I'm not saying there weren't low life people, because all our families had them, and all our families kind of shielded them and protected them. You were lucky if you had a family member who was like, no, this is not going to happen. I'm calling the police, and they're out of here. But what I'm saying is, when you have more of a structure and men holding each other accountable as the first line of defense, and they look to each other as,
I would
some
put
men
it
don't
like
trust other
this.
men if they're not married.
The benefits of a two-parent home is that you have two people instead of one trying to carry the load of raising a child. That in itself is a better foundation than a one-parent home, because we all know a toddler got more power than three adults put together. So with two, we just might make it. With one, we gonna be dragging. And if you take that and extend it to more set households like that, yes, the whole area would be more secure. But in
I would
order to
also
do
say
that,
it depends on the parent too, because I've seen a lot of single mothers and their kids are now in college, now in
yeah, I'm not
graduated
sitting
stuff
up
like
here
that. So
speaking from a place of luxury. I'm not married, never have been. I got two kids. My parents helped me. But what I'm
right.
saying is, even if you have that two-parent structure, whether it be two-parent or one parent, everybody has to have assistance. But that assistance has to be solid as well. So therefore, we're not going to have that solid assistance unless we get this element out of our community and we make it a no-no for that to happen in our community, instead of covering it up and saying, oh, just keep the kids away from him or give
What
them a
happened,
little
Miss
half
Reddy?
this time. Say that.
And
Say that
she in the
again.
chat. I was asking her what happened. And these are good points that you guys are making. But I'm trying to really kind of stick to the, I would say, the mode of the little girl and the
Oh, okay.
rape,
I'm
and
sorry.
how women grow up feeling, certain ways. Like, okay, like I would say, like myself, I know it caused me really not to trust men. It was kind of like it took a lot for me to trust them, because I don't know what you gonna do, your reactions. I don't know how, if you doing this to some other little girl, like I say myself. So that's why I'm trying to stick in that area.
Okay, sis, I have something to add to that. And this is something that I heard on another show. This woman who was a self-defense teacher, she said this was interesting too. And this falls right along with what you're saying. She did self-defense, but she had to separate the black from the black woman from the white women. And she said because the white women seem to know immediate danger, which is why they'll call the police in a minute. If you flinch wrong, they're calling the police. But they didn't know common sense danger, like they'll take a run in the park at 2 a.m. Black women seem to know common sense danger, but they didn't know immediate danger. And she said the reason was that in some of the black communities, the black women are kind of accosted. Men are flirting, they invading your space. So you could be around a very dangerous person like a serial killer and not even know it, because you're so used to the men invading your space. But on the opposite end, the women of other, I guess, ethnicities, races, they tended to not have that problem because they had protective men. So men didn't, wasn't catcalling them. They weren't openly aggressive with them. And so we can be in our community and see 18 men stand around where you're getting yelled at and nobody stands up. So I don't know if that kind of fits into it, but if you get used to that, you don't know how to feel safe and protected. So that's all.
Daniel, I
Mhm.
want to say something to Daniel right quick. I'm reading your message, and that's also a sign of bullying too. So okay, go ahead, Devanya.
No, go ahead. I actually got thrown off. I was reading something in the chat by
Oh,
Adnan.
okay. Yeah, I was just saying that's a sign of bullying too. So, Sister Soul, have you ever been through that situation? Like
Um,
this little girl situation?
yes, we are, unfortunately, a couple of times. um, and with me, I don't know, but I have always had like a reservedness, maybe, I think, because I was thinking while you was talking about that, like, what did it actually affect with me? Like,
Right. Mm-hmm.
um, it kind of made me maybe feel a little worthless, I'll say, because as I got older into my teenage years, um, I didn't think I had a high value, even though I knew I did.
I
I
know
knew I was
exactly what you mean.
okay. Thank you, sis. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to explain it because I'm sitting in my mind trying to think how I was
Because
feeling.
I used to have like, I want to say kind of low self esteem, but really I was the shit. But I didn't
Yes,
see myself as that. Everybody else did.
yes, sis. That's the way I
Ah,
felt,
I
and it
went
made
through
me
that all.
feel like. Go ahead, sis.
We ain't
Did
hear you,
you look like
Divine.
you were pretending like you were somebody else, like you were people saw one thing but you felt another, like you
Right, like
Yes,
I didn't feel like I was pretty as everybody else would say. I didn't feel like I fit in, or like everybody else was around me or wanted to be around me. I just didn't feel that in myself.
did you
right.
push them off because you were wondering why do y'all like me? Did you think like that? Like why do you what do y'all see in me?
No,
Woo!
not really. I would say a part of me liked it because it was kind of like I got love from the streets, stuff
Oh,
like that. But
yeah. Mm,
yeah,
I see.
Now, that's interesting you asked that question because uh three times over, if I had that personality, I could have been married to millionaires. Three
Wow,
times.
I know what you mean.
But but for me myself, the first question I always is like, but what do you see in me? I could never understand because of the field I was always in, whether it's I worked on movie sets or I worked in the construction. I always dealt with, big projects. You run into high end people, and always, I always got they want to take me out. And one time I answered, I actually went out with one of them on a dinner date, and that was my first question when we sat down at the table. I said, listen, let me ask you something. You're very rich, you're very handsome, and me, he met me with my construction clothes on, with my tool belt, you know. But he was there that night. It was a big project, and I guess what he was sewing, it was we were working at night at that point, and whatever he did, he approached me and I couldn't get it. And he kept every day he wanted, and I couldn't. I just kept resisting because I'm saying to myself, what the hell is this freaking rich guy doing coming up to me? And I never saw myself as pretty. I'm the ugly duckling in my family, right? So I never was like one of those feminine type of ladies. So when I finally took the date with one of them, I went out and we went out to dinner and I asked him, and my question was, what you can have any woman you want. You're handsome and you're rich. Why me? And he was trying to convince me, but you don't see how beautiful you are. You don't see, he says, I love the way you work, your stamina, you're on point. So he was seeing things about me that I didn't see, but I'm not seeing me as that. I was just always afraid of rich guys and always afraid of handsome guys, even till this day. Like, I haven't been dating for like maybe 22 years. I've been celibate, but at
ooh
during that point in my life, during that point in my life, I could never date a handsome guy or a rich guy. For it just, I always felt that there was trouble involved. I always felt because of his money, he's gonna leave me because I never saw myself as pretty anyway. So he's gonna eventually leave me. So I don't want a rich guy. And um so for me, I always dealt with, you gotta be funny, You gotta, and you gotta be smart. You gotta be able to deal with different topics, from weather to sports to what we're dealing with right now, what we're speaking about right now. So I didn't care about looks. I never did, even till this day. So I actually became celibate and stayed celibate all this time because I can't, especially what I saw my sister go through and me having two kids 12 years apart. It's like, no, I don't want to have another third kid and with a third. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have to cut it. And mentally, that's where I have been. And it's just me working on myself and becoming a better person. And that's been my motto. I can never marry again until I love myself, until I'm satisfied with who I am. Then I can give, even though I give my heart to anyone, I'm just a lover. I love animals. I walk with I walk with freaking cat food in my bag when I leave the house every day in case I run into cats, stray cats. So it's like I just love life and animal and things, but I'm more wary now. And like one of the brothers we had on, I don't want to bring up his name because I didn't even, but I went to, he's actually have a school here in in New York here, and I've been hearing about him on the internet, on the blog. We've been on the different shows and just hearing how he's been speaking up and hearing about, what he's got. So I say to myself, you know what? I'm gonna go and check the place out. I cannot keep just throwing money to all these because I love to support, my brothers and sisters, but I can't keep doing it because I keep getting burned. I keep getting burned because people are phony. So I actually went today and checked out and went physically to go, and I met the brother and met the school, met the place and all that. And when I speak to him and he gives me permission, I'll mention his name. And but that's what we have to start doing now. We have to prove all things. Like, don't we, these internet marriages, someone brought that up the other day. Like, what's going on with these internet marriages?
Yeah, we gonna get into that. What about you, CCTV? You ever been through situation like the little girl?
Um, I'm not gonna say exactly like that. It wasn't as harsh, nowhere near as harsh. Somebody tried me, and when they realized that I wasn't slow, they backed off.
Right.
So that was when I was
I
like
don't think it had
12.
nothing to do with being slow, sis. Just to reiterate that real quick. That's kind of offensive for some
I'm
people that
not
may have.
saying slow as in mental disability, slow on the uptake.
Right. That's the same thing I'm saying, sis. But because I don't think none of us are slow or have been, but we went through it. Me, I
No,
went through
but
it a couple
if you
times, but
don't have a certain look, he told me he was gonna feel for my heartbeat and tried to put his hands in my pants. When I said that's not where your heart is, he backed off because he knew that I knew that wasn't where
Had
your heart is,
sense.
so I'm probably
Right.
gonna go tell. So
So it's
how
more like
would
a personality kind of
I say
most
that?
personality thing.
Yeah.
So a shy
Just
person
on
might
the
not
test.
I'm not saying
fight.
that like to downgrade nobody. I started off by saying I'm lucky enough that I didn't go through it as far as her. I'm just from
Right. We
down south.
understand.
Understood.
If we
Understood.
say it like we see it. Like somebody said got mad because I said polite tried to get a girl worms. I'm not gonna go into the child, but polite nasty. Dirty old men got worms. All old men ain't dirty, but dirty old men got worms.
I
And
wanted
by
to tell
age.
Devanya.
and just to verify, sis, I
That's
wasn't
just
trying to
a
say it in that way. Just I'm always I'm a let me say this real quick, babe. I'm an outside the box thinker, right? So
mhm.
since it's all us women up here, I don't know who's in the chat, and I was just thinking on the premise of somebody that might take that offensive. I understood what you meant, just to
Yeah.
clarify. But for
But see,
somebody
I
that may
always
have
go
took
on to
it
say
right,
that
but
it ain't got nothing to do with age, and it could be male or female. You can get worms by proxy. But in this day and age we living in, if you want your stuff to get past the algorithm, you're not gonna say certain things like the S word and then the A word put together.
I was going to tell Devanya that's called imposter syndrome. What you had it's called imposter syndrome. You felt like you didn't deserve the attention from certain type of people. That's what it was.
But like, see, I had enough awareness about myself to get up and walk out. I'm not going to put myself alone with you again because I know you going to do X, Y, or Z. But I
Would
had a
you
prior
tell
experience.
CC? Would you
No,
tell
I didn't
somebody?
tell at the time because I was like, well, he didn't do nothing and he had never, it wasn't like a known person. So I just
Okay.
left it alone and he never bothered me again. But then I had prior experience. Like I said, I grew up down south. You grow up, as soon as you look halfway feminine, dirty old men got worms.
Yeah.
They gonna start hitting on you. People old enough to be your grandparents sitting up here looking at you damn near salivating. You know,
So okay, what?
Why is that okay? That's the thing. Why is
that's
that?
not okay.
Right.
And
I
it's
know it's
being
not, but
called
I'm just
out
saying, how did
now
it go so
more than
far? Why
then.
didn't it, like, it should have been stomped out a long time ago?
It
And it's
should
kind
have
of like,
been, but
yeah.
hey, look, the household was male dominated. Not throwing our males under the bus, but that's the truth of the matter. Women didn't used to work, so you were stuck with what you were stuck with. And they took that mentality to the current age, but it don't work no more because women can get up and leave those situations.
So okay, so when the trial starts and this little girl got to testify, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now that's going to put her out there, her name, and
Well, not really because she's underage, and you know they don't
well,
they
I'm
don't
just saying
use the
this world,
information
somebody be leaked
look,
it.
somebody gonna find some pictures of her, but her
Yeah.
mama's doing a pretty good job of keeping her social media closed.
Okay, that's good.
You know, so if you didn't know who she was before, you don't know who she is now.
Okay.
I have a question for y'all, like for the young lady, the little 14-year-old girl, because that's a girl. And when I think about when I was 14, I probably couldn't drive, probably fresh off maybe playing dolls or having stuffed animals on my bed, that kind of stuff. I'm just wondering, do you all think this will go to trial? Because sometimes when I listen to some of the people, it almost sounds like I said, I'm hoping this will, but I hope also that it goes further, that it's not just about polite. But
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, like I said, I hope she's protected. I don't know if she'll testify or what. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this get by without justice.
Yeah, and I hate
I
stuff
feel
like that because of money or because they famous and all that. They
They're gonna
get
sit up
away
here and
with
try
it.
to hound this child because of what happened to her.
Yeah, and that don't make sense to me. And money and fame and all that, I don't feel that should stop this. Like
Pictures of the
I
mother or
myself,
pictures of the
I
child.
went all on his social media pages, old posts, hashtag cancel brother polite. Take his books off the shelves,
Oh
all that.
Lord.
No kid should be looking up to him saying he's a role model and all this.
Look,
Get
he
him
told
out of
business
there,
about
just
polygamy
like they
with a
did Bill
13-year-old
Cosby.
girl. That should have been enough to cancel him right there. Why are you talking about polygamy to a 13-year-old? What does she need to know about polygamy?
Right. Yeah, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. Anybody else want to touch on something? Sister Sci-Fi Living, you coming on? Where's Shay Love at?
They say, I guess, yeah, meaning infested with
Yeah,
filth.
that's what I'm saying. Like R. Kelly and Bill Cosby,
They
get his
got
ass
worms
out of
too.
there.
Yo, what do you think we should do? Like, not well, first of all, it should start in the homes, but on a larger scale, like kind of like a movement or like an initiative where we, talk to our kids about, hey, make sure that if anyone says this to you, if anyone tries to invade your space or touch you, or tell them what should feel uncomfortable or what in your space looks like. Should we start? And I'm sure I don't know the answer to that. Having more conversations, like workshops with
Absolutely.
our children.
Absolutely. I say, as you start training them to say ABCs, tell them in that order with that. I
I've been
feel like
telling
that.
mine since they was little. Your privacy is your privacy, and ain't nobody got no business in it or on it or looking at it. Ain't nothing that's yours.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, start young.
If a teacher tell you they got a right to look at it, no, they don't. The only person the doctor, and I'm supposed to be there. They know that's yours. Nobody has a justification for making you do anything like that. You're a child and they're an adult. If they tell you you're doing something wrong, they lying. Because the adult is the one that should have the sense to say this is wrong. The adult shouldn't do it in the first place. You don't have anything to be ashamed of if something like that happens to you.
So how do y'all feel about like a boycott, like back in the day, like people literally standing out with signs and going to the trials and all that on him?
The trial is on the 15th, and currently there is a tropical storm building up off the coast of Florida. So I wouldn't encourage anybody to go to Miami right now. But I said yesterday they can start a petition to have the trial live stream or something to make everybody aware.
Yeah.
Instead of it being some great mystery that gets swept up in the house of the HOK again.
Right. Yeah. That is very true. And okay, so I think we touched on that a lot. I think this shouldn't be the last one about it, because just like everybody else is doing streams, getting views, I think it should be talked about regularly.
Katrina, let me answer this. The one I saw is not the little girl. They going back and pulling up Ren Tech and talking about that's the victim. That's clout. Those are clout chasing videos. The mother was on with Polite, but the mother never had her. Excuse me. The mother never had her child on social media, and she scrubbed her social media before this hit. Before this hit the news. Before Tasha K broke it, she scrubbed her social media. And then shortly thereafter, she changed her name to something else. But her child was never on social media, and I don't think she allowed her to take pictures with Polite. So if they got some pictures, they doing some real grimy stuff. Just to let y'all know.
Can I just
then I hear? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say too. What, like me, I identify as, and just by DNA, an Israelite. That's all I'm saying. I don't wear head coverings or anything. I'm just a normal person, and there are a whole lot of us who just are regular, everyday, normal people. What I want to say is this: whenever you notice, let's say in the conscious community or these Israelite communities, be wary of men who want to bring women in to be and subject to them, because if you have kids, then your kids are vulnerable too. So anything that you see where somebody's wanting to take control over you, make you work while they don't work, talk about polygyny, and that's just my opinion. There might be people in the audience who are okay with that. I'm just saying, when it comes to that, they're all the same. They might just call each other, call some different things, but they're all the same because it's the same. I don't know what to call it. I'm just saying, just be careful, because nobody needs to live like that in a country like this, and and that's not our quote culture. So I just want to say that don't ever. I hate to see any woman, just like when I see those beautiful women with these guys like Polite. I was like, how did they? How? I don't understand it. So that's all I
got
want
them
to
when
say.
they was young and didn't know no better.
Okay, that I understand. Okay, understood. Understood.
But that core group, Amunet, they've been together since they was teenagers. Riot got with them when she was 16. He started working on her when she was 16.
So they were groomed on it. Yeah.
He was grooming her while her mama was there. And this girl, he was probably trying to groom her too, but her mama been there for less than a year. And we see how that turned out.
Yeah, and I hear people blaming her, and I'm like, how can you blame a woman for trying to fall in love or being in love with a man?
What? If they want to sit up here and say single mothers of this, or single mothers of that, you gotta stay. You gotta stay in the house, and you can't go nowhere because you done had a child. Then you want to sit up here and say, well, you need 2-parent households. But the same people that saying this usually don't have their own shit together. Hey, you got to work it out however you got to work it out. It's no set structure for anybody. Like, this is gonna work for you and this is gonna work for you. Even in a marriage, the same structure doesn't work for everybody.
You're right, because if
Hey,
they're
Sci-Fi.
untrustworthy people, they're just untrustworthy people. You can be married also and have, people do bad things. I get that. I understand that.
Peace, Sapphire.
Peace to the panel. Peace to the brothers to allow this show to happen. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that all of you guys have the courage to jump on the panel and be a part of this great awakening, because this is what's taking place all over the world. And the Me Too movement have kind of jumpstart this sexual abuse, rape, pedophilia. In the past, things like this was never taken that serious, and we all been under mind control. And not only that, this speak value of the importance of a good family in a household, because a lot of us can relate to someone in our family being a child molester, or uncle, um, first cousins, second cousins touch me, but it all stemmed from a strong household where both parents are in the house. And this is a Black secret that's been covered up for hundreds of years from our ancestors up until now. It is a known fact that when our ancestors were enslaved, this type of behavior was forced upon them to degrade them, you know. So all of this that's taking place is a side effect of what we've been seeing for over some years now. And it's not right. And the more we talk about it, those who are thinking about touching a little boy or a little girl can now be on full alert and understand, because of this conversation is taking place, we're not going to allow this anymore. It has to stop now, and it stops with us.
That's right.
So I just wanted to say that this conversation did started a few years ago when Poppy and Ron Savage came out and said that they were, molested by Africa Bambaataa. So I'm on this panel not only speaking up for the little girls, but I'm speaking up for a lot of little boys that's being touched too. And the parents are seeing the signs, but they're afraid to ask, what's going on, son? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the more we talk about this, the more we can bring some awareness. And you never know, maybe we might encourage these parents or these children that's going through this to have this type of dialogue and confront it head on, and not be silent about it, not being told to shut up, stop being a punk. We're saying this to little boys.
Yeah.
So we got to change the way that we speak to each other. And I'm not perfect. I have done it myself, so I'm not passing no judgment. But it just seemed like we have been so out of touch with manners, respect, yes ma'am, no ma'am, respecting our elders, and just getting back to the basics. And if we can do that, then we could probably save a few children from going through what we went through. We can build up their self-esteem. We can build up their confidence. We can tell them as little kids, little children, little people, that they're beautiful, that they have a lot to offer to the world. All this negativity that's going on right now, it has all been prophesied in the Bible. That's why I said this is a great awakening. What's taking place right now is all spiritual, whether it's good, bad, or ugly.
and we just need to humble ourselves. Sometimes choose our battles, speak up when we need to speak up, and not be afraid. And we need to know that we're going to be all right. But we can't continue to operate in fear because that's what we've been doing for a long period of time. And right now, I just jumped on the panel just to say this. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I feel that I need to say it because a lot of things are being exposed, and it's doing it to try to shame people when really we don't look at, well, you are a rose that grew out of a concrete, which means that you've been through some shit. You know what I mean? We all we all have past, we all made mistakes, we all said things to people or to our loved ones that we really didn't mean to say, but is that us now? No, you know, and it's almost like even believing in God or even the Most High is something wrong with that. I mean, I never thought I would see this type of shit before. I never thought I would see that negativity is being pushed more now than positive, and there is no balance. So thank you guys for doing this show, because this show and shows like this is offering balance. It's not just pointing the finger. We're sharing our stories, and with stories being shared, people can relate to it and take what they can and move it forward.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I told Suave I want to do this, because I don't do this. I'm not a YouTube person or nothing, but I got sick of hearing men talk about women getting raped.
Thank you for doing it too.
No problem.
Yes, thank you. And the revelation, like y'all were talking about earlier with the Aquarius, right? We are now in what they call the golden age. This is why we're becoming so aware and awakened, because we're going through these cycles of life. And through the cycles of life, there are certain errors and things that happen. So we're reaching that now. And with that, this is why we're going into the golden age. If y'all can recall, I know most of y'all probably a bit younger than me, but even as you grew up, you can remember them talking about the golden age, the golden age, the golden this. They always talking about the golden age and going into the golden age. This is the stage we are now. The golden age is the golden crowning of the sun, which is an era in the astronomy of the atmosphere and what's going on, because there's a lot of things going on in the solar, because of that, the golden, which is the golden crowning of the sun, which is the corona period. We're literally living the corona period. This is why they use that name as this particular bug to infiltrate people and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Because of the golden age, because of the golden corona period, they've known about this for years because it's been going on gradually. And this is one of the natural life cycles. One of the bits of pieces of information they keep from us, which is one the life cycles. So with that, because we're going through that life cycle, they've been knowing about this back in the 1950s. This is why they launched the satellite program, which was the Corona satellite program with Eastman Kodak Company, Procter and Gamble, which is ironic if you guys understand now. Last year, if you remember, Eastman Kodak Company prompted for the vaccines. You remember they put out the vaccines and stuff. So we have to look at all these things that show us, bless whoever that was, that show us all the different things.
Say jab.
Yes.
Say jab.
Yes.
Peace to Shay Love. You wanna say anything or touch on the situation?
Yeah, give me a minute, sister. Let me get these kids down. Give me just a
Okay.
second.
Peace Charze. You wanna say anything?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm listening. I'll jump in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else wanna touch on the situation? Amber Raz, you wanna say anything else?
I'm listening in. I'm learning a lot from you guys because I don't have any incidents, that have happened to me. Um, I played, I have all brothers, and growing up, I played with my brothers, and my parents were very much on my brothers about making sure your baby sister isn't alone with any friends. If you guys go somewhere, bring her back home, but, outside of listening to y'all's stories, I've had girlfriends that have told me crazy stories. And I think you can pretty much, like, if people don't deal with that, it seems to almost peak out later in life, and you can kind of see the markings on certain women, um, when certain things have happened, like this. So no, it is very, and it's not even just women, it's people in general. I mean, obviously right now we're speaking in terms of women because of this little girl, but it seemed to be um, an issue worldwide with boys and girls. And this is a whole new, I mean, it's really disgusting, obviously, but definitely something that we need to discuss, so that, I mean, keeping it a secret isn't going to solve any problems. Obviously, education leads to awareness, and awareness leads to fixing an issue. So, very much being aware of something and keeping your eyes open leads to solutions. So, I'm going to sit back and listen a little bit more.
Okay. For the ladies who have been through it, what are ways of healing?
Talking to other people who have been through it, and that might not even be your family. Um, kind of making a, I don't know. It just that it's hard to tell someone it's not your fault when that's not you. But if we can get the message around to where it's almost, this message needs to be as much as rap has been to our community. This healthy message needs to be as much of a part as sick rap has been. But we also have to look at those things. What are the things that we can cut out that are a factor? And we need to start holding accountable these entities that we have supported to our own detriment. So I would say we start there, but that we just kind of talk to our children, um, put people on notice that if you hurt our children, we're after you. There's no more secrets. We don't keep any. There's no more this black dysfunction where we protect criminals. We have to stop being ashamed to be being afraid of the black community, because that's what the biggest problem is too. That's what I would say.
And when you said ashamed, that reminded me of something, because that's kind of how I felt. Like, I felt ashamed, and I couldn't even tell my mother. Like, I don't know
So
if
you,
my father ever told her, but I personally couldn't tell her myself. Like, remember writing her a letter when I got 18, and she never
Oh,
said if she knew already or not. But I know the relationship between me and my father changed drastically.
And
so you
and
was
and we,
touched.
I'm
You
sorry.
saying you was touched? No, I was asking her. She saying she was touched.
Yes, I was right. Yes.
Yeah, I was 7. My cousin, I was 7 years old, but he didn't get to the point to where he penetrated me. He got killed in a car wreck, but he did some stuff to me, and you know how you suppress it. And then
Hmm.
when I got older, like 18, I hated old men. They would creep me out, and I didn't know why. Like they be 40 years old. I was 18. They trying to talk to give you money, and I went, "No, I don't want your money. Get away from me."
Right.
And I just kind of suppressed it.
So we see, like, the bottom line, what we know a lot of the times, what we hear from victims, right, is the shame, right? A lot of them don't say it. Sometimes, a lot of times, they have a threat behind it. You better not tell, or such and I'll do such and such. But a lot of the times, we know it's the shame, right? So if we use
Mm-hmm.
that as a baseline, what we are doing right now exactly what we are doing right now, this can help eliminate, or ease that shame, because now it's an open thing. It's like, hey, this is discussed. People know what's going on. It's like the person who's going through it wouldn't feel so alone anymore because they know, hey, there are people out there voice, oh my God, it happened to me. They can seek their panels now where, hey, you can't be ashamed now. You can come on and talk about it. And it is the beginning of growth,
Can
getting
I
rid of
jump
that
out the
shame.
window? Can I jump out the window a little bit and add a little another perspective and see what all the ladies on the panel think about this category? Would you think that the sex abuse would be extended to female circumcision?
Say that again.
I'm
I would
saying,
say
would you
yes,
think?
but
My question is, would
I
you
say
think
yes.
that this sex abuse on little girls or on women would be an extension of female circumcision?
Well,
What
yes,
you
female
cutting off?
circumcision is considered sexual assault.
What you trying to cut
Yes,
off of women?
it's a cultural thing too, because one of my girlfriends, she was born and raised in Sierra Leone, and she said she had it happen to her at a young age, and she moved out here and got married to an American brother, and she said it was very difficult for her to have sex and enjoy it because her clitoris, was cut off by a razor blade, but it was done in a ceremonial type of event. This is
That's
something that they
torture.
do.
Didn't
That
they
is torture.
African do that? They do the little girls like they
Yeah, but
used
they
to. I don't know
banned
if they
that
still
over there,
do.
and they
Right,
still
a,
do
Yeah.
it.
a certain tribe. But okay, so earlier one of the sisters was saying that this is a cultural thing that we keep quiet amongst us. We don't tell, we don't, we keep the family secrets. So again, that would be their cultural beliefs that that's what they do. But my thing is, as an outsider of that culture, would you guys consider that to be, because even though it's their culture, their religious beliefs, would you guys consider that a sexual uh deviance?
Well,
Because it had nothing to do with religion. It's so females feel no sex. They're supposed to be reproduction only. It's so
Yeah.
females have no sexual feeling, so they won't go
right,
off and run off and cheat on their husband. It has nothing to
right.
do with religion. It's something some sick man came up with a couple of 100 years ago, and they've been running with it ever since.
Right, and it is
They
considered
break in
sexual abuse.
ceremony.
There are videos on YouTube that goes into details of these victims, and there's not one woman that agreed, or they lost the feeling of having orgasms because of that too. So
Correct.
it is
Yes.
it is a form of sexual abuse. But I do want to get back to the other question prior to this one, because I think if we're going to talk about the problem, we also should bring up solutions. So the solution to the question that was asked was, what are some of the things that we can do going forward? And I think one of the things of healing is acknowledge it. Don't try to hide it, because when you have been sexually assaulted or abused growing up, it does mentally play with your confidence, your insecurities, your self-esteem, and it kind of spill over to other things in your life, whether it's your parenting skills, you being a good wife or even a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
um, so one of the things of healing, I believe, is be a best friend to yourself. Because if you could become yourself best friend, which means you got to be honest with yourself and try to fix whatever problems that you have with yourself, then you can be a better friend, co-worker, wife, husband, because this is not just a female thing. It's a lot of men out there that's listening to this show that has been touched as well.
Yep.
So I'm speaking to you guys as well, and that's what I would like to say. And again, thank you for this show, and I am going to jump off this panel.
Okay, thank you so much.
Have a
You're
good
welcome.
night, sis.
Have a good
So what
evening.
do y'all think about the like this one guy was talking about, how the girls was in high school and they come with the older guys and stuff like that, and he saying, well, y'all not telling that, y'all not telling that.
That's something
You got,
that's normalized in neighborhoods, though.
yeah,
That
and
goes
that's what I
back
was
to the
saying.
whole, if you see something, say something thing.
And
If
then a
you
lot of
know
them,
that dude going trolling at the middle school, why you blaming the middle school girls?
yeah, that's what
Blame
I'm
the man
saying.
that's trolling the middle school.
He
Blame the
was like,
man that's trolling the high school or the woman.
other woman, yeah. That's what I said. Why is you blame? Then you don't know if they was molested at home. You don't know what the situation is. Why girls act like that too? Because it can't
Hmm.
start. It started from home. A lot of that. See, I'm older, so I'm 55. So I know they always hid it. Oh, well, don't have him around this certain person because they knew he was creepy. He was doing stuff to people.
Yeah.
So and they hid it. They
But
never did
everybody
want to
didn't
tell
have
it.
that protection from that creepy man. So he might not have
Yeah.
got you because everybody around you was aware, but he went on to got somebody that's family
Somebody else.
wasn't so aware or wasn't so watchful.
And
And
yeah, and
then
that's
that messed
another
up.
thing. Like all these secrets, all these secrets. Why are you
Yeah.
hiding these people? Put them
Thank
on
you.
blast. That uncle. Everybody need to know when he comes to a party. Get on the loudspeaker. Keep your kids away from him.
Uncle Earl here. Uncle Earl here.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I know
the
the first
grandmamas,
thing
like the
they
big
tell you
mamas,
in
didn't want to
therapy,
tell it on the uncle. They didn't want
and
to
that's
give the
another
uncle the
problem.
trouble.
Therapy needs to be normalized in the black community. It's
Yes,
not
yeah.
shameful. It doesn't mean that you have a problem, or if you do have a problem, it means that you're going to get it fixed or at least treated.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Detroit
The
Red
first
Wing.
thing they tell you in therapy is it's not your fault. You didn't dress a certain way. That's not why they did that to you. You
No,
wasn't in
no,
the wrong place at the wrong time. The
no.
fault lies with
Mhm.
the person that did this to you,
To you. You
not
can have,
yourself. You don't
yeah,
have anything to be ashamed of.
yep.
Nothing. Because you did nothing wrong.
You can have
And
on a
that
long dress and they still do something to you. So it
you
don't
can
matter
walk out
what
in
you
a
were.
potato sack, wrapped
For
Yeah,
up
it
in
real.
don't
a
matter.
glaze in a daggone garbage bag.
Cause
Didn't
I'm gonna
matter.
tell y'all how sick this motherfucker was with me. My daddy, my uncle, my auntie was outside. They was all outside drinking,
Yeah.
having fun,
And he
dancing. I hear the music, and he creep in there. So I know
mm-mm.
they sick.
Oh
No
wow.
problems,
Because who
Queen
would take
Throne.
that
We
kind of
still
risk
here.
if they wasn't? But when you
Yeah.
know you have a family member that has issues, get them help, get them treatment. Don't just get them the crazy check. Make sure they go to the appointments. Make sure they take their medication. As much as you want to sit up here and say this medication do this and this medication do that, what do they do without the medication?
Mm.
Now y'all
And he
heard
wasn't
somebody
even a
say
family member. He was just a neighbor of some
Neighbor.
or
exactly, but that
You need
family
to
never
soon
got
live
him
in.
any kind of treatment because I'm quite sure if he did that to you, that wasn't his first time
First
doing it
time, no.
Wait,
because he was
Hurricane Katrina, I
entitled to
have a
two
question.
goals.
well, he got his ass stomped out, so it better been his last time because my daddy and them stomped the hell out.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna ask. Okay, I see.
But the
Okay.
Oh
other thing
yeah,
about
yeah.
Yeah.
a sexual
And that's
predator
like I said,
is they don't stop.
no, they
They
don't.
got a sickness in them that does not go away. It don't matter how much treatment they get, they will still go out and do this. Classified pedophiles, hebophiles, it's like a compulsion.
You can
Well, okay,
castrate them and
so you
still
just
wouldn't do no good.
suggested someone just suggested that they go get help, but then I just heard, I don't know if it was the same person that said no matter how much help that they get,
If you
they're still
catch
going to do
them
it.
early enough, it's pedophiles that's never touched a child. They say
Yeah.
they've never touched a child and they go to treatment willingly, but there's a stigma about this. If you got thoughts of touching a child,
Yeah.
you need to get treatment at the earliest point possible. That way,
Yeah, it's like a
there might be
crackhead.
recovery for you. But most pedophiles hide it until they act on the compulsion. Some
Mm-hmm.
never go past viewing pictures, but in them consuming those pictures, they're making a market for sicker people to make those pictures.
I understand.
So as
Yeah,
long
it's
as you
definitely
have that
demons in
type
them.
of person out here, it's gonna continue to happen. No matter how careful you are, no matter how restrictive you are, no matter how watchful the community is, you gotta find them, get them where they need to be for treatment, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other ones, if they repeat offenders, we need to make the charges for child abuse longer than they already are. That's male and female across the board.
To me, I think should be like murder.
Exactly.
It should never be no stipulation of time on it. It should be like
I
murder.
Because
agree.
you killed that
If you
child's innocence,
they spirit, and
male
then
or female.
a lot of them like for
Capital
entertainment. I
punishment.
know
They
some.
give you more time for crack than raping the kid and all that.
Yeah, they give
That
you more
should be
time.
changed too.
Yeah, they
I
give you more
think
time for
Amber.
crack.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharzay. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I said I'm sorry. I was good. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was saying that like R. Kelly. R. Kelly never got help. He had all the money. He never got help. And a lot of people don't believe he did. I said some of them girls did. Mama did go with him, let him go with him. But some of that stuff he did to those girls, those young girls.
And he had enablers.
He had
And the
neighbors, yeah.
enablers also have to be exposed.
That's true.
Do you
Yeah,
know
And
to this day, I still have not watched this P video apparently that is out there. People that sit there and laugh at that.
oh,
I refuse to watch it.
I've never seen any of those. I can't watch things like that. I
Nope.
can't.
I was
I,
young and
I
dumb.
can never be a
So I
journalist like
fast
that.
forwarded
No.
to it and confirmed she was a little girl, and then ejected the tape and gave it back to who I got it from.
Yeah, it was a little
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Because I
Yeah,
just
'cause you
wanted
could
to
tell
let
the
them
way
know.
she was moving when it came on. I'm like, that's a kid.
Yeah, you
You
can
can
look at her and
tell.
tell that that's a child. And all these years later, now he going to court for it.
Yeah. But a lot of people saying that some lady was his nutrition. She was on Tasha K earlier today. Oh, well, he didn't none of them girls, they were just lying about it. I said, okay, they might have been lying or whatever. They stayed, they did whatever they
It's
did.
sick people like
I
that
said
that allow
messing
stuff
with
like
those
this to
Wow.
girls.
go on.
He's still messing with
Wow.
some of
Wait
those
a
girls.
second. Didn't he blame
Exactly.
his brother? Didn't he blame his brother or his
He
cousin or
blamed his
something?
brother at the time, but in the
Okay.
video, you could hear him. You could hear somebody in the background say, "Hey, Kels for you," and he took his face out that grown woman butt and turned around and said, "Huh."
Yeah.
Okay, so then if his brother was blamed, how come, even though it wasn't his brother, how come the brother didn't go to jail?
The only reason R. Kelly got off the first time is because the girl didn't show up for
No,
trial.
how come the brother didn't go to jail is what I'm
The
saying. If
brother
he
didn't
Because
know.
they knew he was lying. They had more than look. Facts on the table. They had more than one tape. Somebody delivered the tapes to the DA or whoever.
Yes.
But
And
R. Kelly said that's his problem. He can't stop recording.
He can't stop it.
Wow.
And his sister molested him, and it just took him farther to he just perverted.
But
Mhm.
if
So
them
much
tapes
perversion.
wasn't in that house, where was they at? See, they say Epstein was recording all kind of stuff, but he ain't got no tapes neither.
Mm-mm.
Where
'Cause
all these tapes at? My bet's the dark web, but I'm just
Yeah,
guessing.
that's crazy.
Well, the bottom line is the scripture says that they're going to take sin and make sin evil. As
Yep.
long as you have money, you can commit murder, you can commit lewdness, perverseness, you can rape, you can do all of that. As long as you have a lawyer, you can get away with a lot of stuff in this country. They have taken evil, God said, they will
And
take
turn it
evil,
good. What's
sin,
good
and
is
make it law.
evil, and what's evil is
Yeah, they take,
good.
yeah,
They didn't switch.
exactly.
They didn't
And
switch
we
it
are
around.
witnessing it. We are witnessing it now. And the thing is, what we have to do is now that we know it, we are aware now what's going on, right? Some people
Uh-huh.
call it woke, but we are aware of it. Is what sister was saying before. What are we gonna do now? It's solutions. One of the solutions is, hey, erase that when they started coming up with the snitches get stitches. No, hell no. We need to erase that. Don't even mention, don't even bring up your kids. Don't even mention that. No, you see something, you say something. That's what we have
Yeah,
to
my pet
raise our
theory
children.
is that the criminals made up this the white man this and the white man that, so we can't snitch on the black man, so they could rob the black man blind and do whatever they wanted, and always blame it on the white man.
But see, that's another
But
thing people took way too far to me
Entirely
because,
too far.
see, I'm from Chicago, Illinois,
Shut up.
and snitching to me is when y'all do something together and y'all get busted, and then you
Exactly.
tell
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of just letting it
That,
ride out or taking your part.
yeah,
That's
that's
snitching.
it.
Not seeing a
Yeah.
kid get killed and being quiet. Not
They
seeing
take
somebody
that
get raped and being quiet. That's not
neighborhood
snitching.
intimidation and everything. They had whole neighborhoods shook. That's how the ghetto became the real ghetto.
Yep.
I think Amber
Yes.
said something earlier. She was saying about culture versus the culture of us being quiet, and I think women mutilation. What I wanted to say is different. The culture that we started here is kind of a self-imposed, where we felt we were protecting. I want to say, especially the men, because really, that's just the way it was. We looked at it as everyone was the enemy,
You
and
going in and out.
Yes, sis. Yeah.
Oh, y'all, should I come back out?
Yeah, it's like you going in, we can hear you, then you go out, back out again.
Okay, I hear an echo from me, but I have my
You
is
got
everyone
to
mic off. Let's see.
I
What
think
about
you
now?
got two avatars or something.
Oh,
Yeah, you got two avatars.
Did I remove the wrong one?
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Well, how about this? I'm just thinking that we have to stop that and stop thinking that we're protecting people by not punishing them or making them holding them accountable to the law. That's what I would say. So about that one thing is a sick religion and a culture of punishing women and hatred of women and girls. And with our case, with this kind of no snitch stuff, we just have to stop it. It's not helping anybody, and it's we're just breeding sociopaths basically.
And we
Yep.
seeing one of the ones that's been bred right now. 14 days
I
to
just hope
trial, people.
I just
No,
hope
wait,
that girl
13
mama
days to
don't do
trial.
like Charlemagne, the mama did for the girl with Charlemagne, then she want to come back later on. You should let her go ahead and testify.
Yeah.
Charlemagne would
I'm
have
talking
been
about Leonard.
Charlemagne, the god, that girl that
Leonard.
yeah. Is that him? Yeah.
Lord.
I hope that this girl mama don't tell her, oh, she don't want her to testify.
This mama look like she going for the gusto.
She need to.
Yeah,
I
I
hope
hope
she
so.
do.
But that stigma, that's a whole lot of parents. That's why we have a whole lot of damaged people out here. When stuff like this happens, they provide. There are public funds for victims to go and get therapy and get what's needed to get their life back on track. But most people turn this stuff down. They don't want the people in their business. This, that, and the other.
And
Stop
bringing up
turning it
therapy
down.
is good too.
Yeah.
I think therapy is good. I said myself, I need to go. I've been through a couple of things in my life, but like black people don't go to therapy. That's what we say.
That's what they
So
tell
I
you. I
think
said
I
I'm
think that's
crazy up
good.
I
front.
think we all need therapy.
If I act like this on medication, how y'all think I'm gonna act off it? Which one you want, the unmedicated Tasha or the medicated Tasha?
Yeah, real.
Do y'all think it's just like formal therapy that helps, or just kind of sometimes talking about it, or do you think formal therapy is the way?
Talking about it can be therapy in and of itself. Like everybody ain't built for therapy. Everybody don't want nobody in their business. But if you have a trusted person, it's like that's what most people scared of. They gonna tell somebody and then they gonna turn around and tell somebody else. Therapy is a
Here's the
safe
thing.
place.
Here's the thing with therapists, though, is that they're trained on specific categories with with how the brain works and how to give that person who's going through a traumatic experience or whatever it is, give them tools on how to adapt. So yes, it's nice to talk or have a diary or a journal or whatever it is, but you have people that are trained. Like, here's the thing that I tell people, because I used to work for a group home, and I would take care of vulnerable adults. And there was always like these different stigmas, but a lot of those people that came in and did therapy, the vulnerable adults were able to become a little bit more independent because taking those tools that they were taught that they didn't know before, they were able to drive, or they were able to become, go into like low budget homes and things like that. So I don't, yeah, there's a stigma around it, but it teaches you on how to have certain tools so that you can take it back to your other relationships for success. I don't think that there should be any type of stigma around it.
And then if you have a job, a lot of your insurance pay for you can go get therapy with your insurance.
And Medicaid too.
Yeah.
You sure can.
For any vets, they offer free therapy to any and all vets. All you have to do is go and sign up at the VA center.
So okay, let's deal with what if he get off. Let's deal with that. Let's put our mind there, cause
I'm prepared for that because too many. I've heard like the other day, some guy named Kevin Grills said that Tasha K was actually in Miami on the day that this happened.
Why does anybody listen to that idiot?
You know what? How about this? Now that you said that, I'll stop because it's like
I was one of his first
craziness.
mods. Please don't ever say he said anything because he lied too much.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Well, how about this? Then the other one, let's see
He also said Kwame Brown was part of the Illuminati, so he just clout chasing. He's trying to get them to pay him attention.
Okay, well, how about this? What's his name? Polite keeps saying stuff like traveling man and stuff like that, and I know that's kind of esoteric and stuff. And y'all, like I said, I'm hoping that he is held accountable. But the thing is, he would be literally less than just a tip. So I don't even look at him as just a start. I don't know what I see him as. I don't want it to just be the sacrificial, because there's so much more.
He didn't do it himself. He didn't do it himself.
Yeah, right. Unless he drops a lot of some other names, you all. But again,
I think he is. He did Nino Brown. Where he said, dropping names.
But this is a big
every time he get caught doing something wrong. But the difference between this time and all them other times is that actual authorities are involved.
Yeah.
They're not going to say, shucks, Polite. This is your first time. We're going to let you off. It's actually going to be consequences to this.
Yep.
But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be
get
bad on us as Black women. Like, no one cares about us. We don't deserve justice. That's the way I look at it. So I'm just preparing myself.
If they got the DNA that they say they got, he at least going to jail for a little bit. He ain't gonna be able to plea all the way out.
Yep.
And we have to remember,
look,
this is
in Florida. He in the best place for this. If they can prove
Miami. That's right.
Yes, if they can prove that he is a repeat offender, Florida don't play about that. Miami-Dade Correctional Facility, here you come, baby. They got a whole cell suite for you.
Well, they need to take Sarnetta with them too.
Put all type of burritos in his ass.
So now that we're
but see, ain't nobody got no information. Nobody has any more information than Tasha K has put out.
Yeah,
that's point blank. Period.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a question. Can I ask you ladies a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, because I sit and contemplate this stuff a lot, right? Because, like I said, it's very dear to my heart. With children, I get very emotional with kids. So let's think about it. Remember when the internet started? They even had a television show where they set up pervs and the whole internet
to catch a predator.
Right.
Catch a predator.
Exactly. So what we know is one of the first things that the government did when the internet started. Remember, they had no control over the internet when it first started. It's like people can say anything, do anything, and it took a while for them to start coming down and issuing laws. One of the first things they started doing with the internet, they have their FBI agents that look at everything. So the question is, do you guys think they have not been watching the transactions and everything that's been going on with these two for the past few years, and they have been just waiting to pile up everything? But just because Polite got caught in the action, he's there. But don't you think they are compiling everything? They
Well,
have
that's
been
what the
watching these
FBI do.
videos for
That's
If
what
years.
anybody among the victims of Michael E. Nowak
Exactly.
go down there
Exactly.
to the district DA or call the district DA, if enough of them call, they got Polite in one place right now with this case. You know, he can be wrangled up at any time. They ain't got to worry about serving him and all that other kind of BS. So if the victims do what they need to do instead of saying, well, you know, I'm gonna give a brother a pass, which is what has happened every other time, besides those leasing companies where he keep going to court because he don't pay his rent. They can probably add those charges, seeing as how he is in Florida. If some lawyer starts a class action lawsuit, maybe, but I'm not a lawyer, so that's just speculation.
Let me ask
No,
you
I'm
ladies
no,
something.
I'm talking about guilty by association. He himself admitted online that, hey, yeah, you think I don't know that you took my, you know, you're my niece, and you know, and
Yeah,
the mom was looking
that
for
was
her. You, this is what
you
I'm
keep
saying.
taking
A
that
lot of
mess
these guys,
down, but
they
everybody,
talk
you
and they
talking
implicate.
about
Sarnetta.
Sarnetta family.
Yeah, I'm talking about Sarnetta. Yeah,
That's why
I'm not
he.
talking
That's
about.
why
I'm
he
talking about.
Every
registered.
time Polite slip, every time Polite gets on his bad side, he tells on Polite, and then he acts like he don't
Yes,
know nothing later.
Yeah,
Empire
that's why he's
Empire
scared.
said that if it can be
but
proven
that's
that
the
he's
point.
complicit, then he can be charged, but it would have to be proven.
Yeah, but he got them
No, but
tapes, them videos showing that he
this
said
is what I'm
that
saying.
he knew about it.
Listen, he automatically, guess what? If I'm the prosecutor, I'm compiling all his tapes. If I'm compiling all them tapes, and I'm looking at this as a ring. I'm not just looking at Polite. If I am the prosecutor, I'm trying to
But
take the whole
that would
card
be if
down.
any of those were in the state of Florida, because this right here is just a sexual assault case.
Yeah.
No, no, yeah, but sexual assault, it doesn't limit. They track it not only just nationwide. They track. Remember Hillary Clinton's top chief of aid? He got busted because they had a place set up in China, and
Yeah.
they got the Chinese government involved and busted him, and he went to jail. So when it comes to child trafficking and doing those things, it's not a state thing. This is a nation worldwide thing. This
But
is what
would
I'm
And if
saying.
anybody
and
help
if
So
him
and
to
this,
that,
traffic
if he
those
took that
children, or
child,
were they just on the money tip?
yeah,
'Cause
and if
I
he
don't
took
know
that
if they was
child without the
involved in that
mama
end.
knowing, they call that kidnapping charge. So
Um,
if she said no, I
Sade,
didn't know she was
cut your
gone.
mic up a little bit.
Can you? Oh, you can't hear me?
Can y'all
You
hear me?
low, but we can hear you. You low.
Oh, I'm on this iPad. uh, uh,
yeah.
I said that. What I forgot what I was saying. Go ahead. I'm old.
I have a question for you ladies, and this is going to be a little out of the ordinary, but let me jump a little bit. Okay, so I don't know Brother Polite outside. I've never followed any of his videos or anything. I don't know anything other than this case and then what people are saying. And what they've been saying is that this dude is a genius, apparently, that he speaks what, 6, 7 different languages, so on and so forth.
Okay. You don't know about Polite, so I'm gonna hip you on Polite. I've never
No,
been a
but
Polite follower, but as Aunt Crack Pipe always
No,
said,
let her finish. Let her finish, sis. Let her
I
finish.
have a point that I'm getting to. Okay, so
Go ahead.
if he's this, genius, and oh my gosh, he takes care of all these women, and he's like this person that people have been following for so many years, and he thinks outside the box and all these different things, right? Why is it that this move, this story that we're hearing of him leaving his DNA on his child, if he's so smart, was he on drugs when he did this? Like, wouldn't he have thought to clean up this child or anything like that? So yes, I told you I was going to jump, but to me, it seems like there's a couple different things missing in this storyline.
I think he
I
popped
can
pills
call
with
myself,
her.
I can call myself a teapot all day. Does that make me a teapot?
No.
He calls himself a genius. He said he wrote over 90 books. He says he speaks 7 languages, but none of them actually exist. And the only word we can make out is lima beans and banana. So I've been hunting after Polite for about 5 years because he's a scammer, you know, and he likes young girls. He's a hebephile.
But
You
he
know,
didn't
but
think
we
the
can
mama
prove
was
more of
gonna
the
say something.
scamming. The other stuff was just, you know, on the wind. He said, she said, till we put everything together. Because we always speculated that was the girl, but then we found out for sure that is Renintech. And as of 2020, she was taking pictures with Polite. So if she ran away from her mama all those years ago, she's still with Polite.
She said she was 16 on what's his name?
No, that's Riot.
Oh, that's
Y'all
right.
get them mixed up.
Okay.
Amunet is the bottom bitch. That's the one that's got 2 daughters by him.
Okay.
Why do I call Amunet the bottom bitch? Because when he was supposedly in prison, she held him down and she always there for all the schemes and all the scams. You know, she was on the phone with supposedly PayPal when the big PayPal scandal came out. But that's the first wife. Then you have Riot. That's the one that was 17 when, you know, she got with Polite or they started talking or however they want to phrase it. Now, right, then he met this woman named Lorena Woody, aka Anuket. Anuket, Baket, Atumre, whatever. She had 2 daughters, one called Mescanet and one called Renintet. And she had a little boy that's got a really long name.
That's why I could never keep up with the story, the names, man.
She was with Polite for a couple of years, and then she got pregnant. Now, 3 months after she had this baby, she took all her children and this newborn and hauled ass. That's when Polite called himself suing the city of New York, CPS, New York CPS, and Lorena Woody. That's where you get that Michael E. Nowak Jr. versus Lorena Woody case from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after Anuket runs away with her 4 children, three children and a newborn, her 3-month-old. Right after that, and apparently she got help from social services. Renintet, who is her daughter, ran off to be with Polite, and she's been with him ever since.
So she was messing with Polite when she was there with the mom.
I think Polite was grooming her while her mama was pregnant towards the end, because it seems kind of funny that, I don't know about you ladies, but me, I'm not trying to move nowhere with 3 kids and a newborn if I have a choice.
Right.
Something got to be wrong. So I'm thinking that he started trying to mess with the girl, or was messing with the girl right when she was finna have the baby, and the mother figured it out and took him off.
Yeah, I think so too.
But he had been working on her low key since she was 13, because this is the one that he wrote the book about polygamy with.
And why?
Oh
What did 13-year-old know about polygamy?
Now we fast forward to 2021 and he's on trial. He's going on trial for sexual assault against a 14-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
He's a hebephile.
When I was 13 years old, any one of you, when you were 13 years old, what were you? I know when I was 13 years old, what we were doing back then, we didn't have this. We weren't growing breasts like the women are growing. Girls are growing breasts
Speak for
nowadays.
yourself,
We used to
Devanya.
stuff our bra with tissue. You guys remember we used to stuff our bra with tissue just to try and impress the boy, you know?
I had breasts and butt, so
I promise.
You know what? You know what? This brings me back to a very important, the same topic we're on, right? Now let's think about crushes. Girls and boys, we call it crushes, right? How many of us have had a crush on a teacher in school? Whether we're a boy or a girl, you have a crush. Oh, I like that teacher. You got
And
your
some
crush
teachers
and you
take
want to go to
advantage of
school
that.
looking all pretty because you got a crush. And now just think about it. Imagine if all those teachers, like you, and we know a lot of those teachers know when the kids had a crush on them and all that. They can see how the kids are looking at them if they have a crush on them. Imagine. And so now the thing is, if those teachers, now some of them, they were, they have been caught molesting and all that. But imagine if every teacher were to act on the crush of the child at that age. So when we go back to the people like Polite and them, it's like there is no excuse when they try to make up, but what if the girl was flirty and all that? Yo, that's a freaking man who's got kids. There is no excuse in the world you can come up to try and get my brain to and to accept any
Right.
reason why he would go, any man would go and do
Yeah,
anything
because
to
if
any
this
child.
little
It's
girl is acting
hard,
too
Terrence,
flirty to
for
you, if
somebody
this
to
little girl is acting too flirty to you, you need to check her. Go tell her mother
Exactly.
or whatever.
at
Exactly.
the
In the
age
island, she would have got
if an
beaten.
underage
She would have
person,
got beaten and dragged back to her house.
yeah, if an underage person is coming on to you, it's on you as the adult to
Yes.
turn them down.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
sad that
Why?
But
that's
Because
even
you
that's
an
very
know
hard
that
for a
they
lot of
are
these
not
guys.
an adult. You know that their brain is not ready for that.
Hmm.
That's just point blank, period. You shouldn't have to go no further than that. But
Mm-mm.
people sit up here and try to justify adherent behavior.
Yeah. But don't y'all know Ringo for life? He the one who said he didn't care if the girl 9 years old. Cause some girls started on a cycle at 9 and 8. I know when I was
right.
coming up. He said that they could have sex with a grown man. And that's not
That's
It's
sad.
it,
Yeah, that don't make
it's
no
because
sense to me because you're not thinking about destroying her body either. Because
yeah,
They
nine
Well,
don't
years
care
old. Her
about that
mind is
part.
not
They
ready.
just care about their gratification.
Her mind is
yeah.
not ready. Not ready for
so
that.
And
so
neither is
yeah,
her
so
body. Just
so
because she has her period doesn't mean that she's ready to have babies.
that's what I'm saying. Her
It's the
body's
be-
not
the
ready.
Her
beginning.
body not.
It's the preparing.
and
You know.
and this is why the scripture, I know some of you ladies don't believe in the Bible, but this is why the scripture separates Adam from beast, man and beast. It's written all throughout the scripture. Not everybody, the God says not everybody, just because they have arms, legs, head, and brains and all that, you're walking around looking like a human. Not everyone is a human. He said most of the people on this earth are going to act animalistic. That's why they're called beasts in the scripture. People look at it like it's an actual animal, but no, he tells us how you're gonna have creepy crawlers, you're gonna have snakes, you're gonna have, all the rats. And these are the same terminology we use 6,000 years later. We're still using the same terminologies. You
Yeah.
have upright men, which is the Adam. If you're upright, walking upright, doing righteously, which your family, and then you have those who they act on instinct. Their penis thinks for them. You
Do you
understand? So
guys
they can
think
come
that
and do
do you guys think that Polite was molested?
I do.
I
I
do.
think so,
I think
definitely.
so too.
I
I
If
think
you
so
read
definitely
too.
think so.
between the lines when you read that book, that polygamy book, because they have a whole section broken down about their life, so called, it seems like all of them came from some type of abusive household or another. We know he didn't meet his mother till he was a teenager, and his father walked out on him, and he was staying with what his uncle on his mama's side, and they didn't treat him
Well,
right. So
well,
Yeah, I think
according
he
to all the
was.
reports, he grew up on the farm, the on Dr.
no, he
York's
didn't. He
farm.
never set foot on Tamaray.
Yeah, they said he
This
didn't
is
even know
well, this
him.
is the
I mean, never
reports.
met him.
So, but didn't you say earlier in one of the shows earlier, I believe yesterday, CCT TV, you
Mhm.
said that
No, I said he took
I
over one of
believe
the
you said
bookstores.
Dr. York. No, you said Dr. York had the how did he get in, Dr. York himself get
And Dr.
involved
York
in
was in
making.
jail. He never
No,
made
no,
it
no.
How
out.
The
did Polite
children.
get into how did
No,
Polite get
before he
involved with
went to
York,
jail.
or how did
No,
York
this is
get involved with the cult shit?
no, this is before York went to jail. Didn't you say that York named his children?
No, he
Gave
said that
polite.
one of his wives was York's daughter, and York named her when he was telling everybody about the name changes. This is such and such and such.
Oh,
Yeah,
But
he said
then York was in
so he
jail.
was.
Did he know?
that woman was grown. She was older than him, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that was just somebody they pulled up one day because you never really saw her. And then in that book, she mentions Amunet, Riot, her mom, and it was just the three of them. So where did this other woman come from? Because before that, Polite was supposed to be in prison.
Yeah.
Gross. These people are gross.
Yeah, I have
So
a
so so
question.
so let me ask you ladies another question, right? This
I
is
think
this is something
somebody
that's
else
been
was saying
boggling my
something before
mind.
you, Devanya.
Supposedly, what's that?
Go ahead. I think
Hello?
somebody else was trying to say something before you, but go ahead.
Oh no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, okay. I mean, you can finish, Devanya, and I just have a question after you. Go ahead, finish. So your thought will be there.
No, I was gonna ask you ladies about the like he got out on the $1,000 bail, right? And they're saying from the only information I've
Hey,
heard so
boo,
far is
Nyla Vibes.
there was a mistake in the bail because
They said it was
anybody a
a
crime
clerical
like
error.
this you don't get out on $1,000 bail. But from what they're saying, it was like they made a mistake, the paperwork. But even if the mistake was made, what I don't get is because the crime is so heinous, they
They
can
said
correct
that
that
Polite
paper and just
cried
arrest them.
indigent to the
But this
court.
guy's traveling all over the place. So have you ladies thought about that? Like what's going on? Like, how is that possible? Like, such a heinous crime, but yet he's still out. Even if it's a paperwork mistake, they can easily correct it. The prosecutor can easily go to the judge and say, hey, da da da, and have it corrected where, hey, boom, no, you
One
can't
theory,
travel. You can't leave the state.
I don't think
How is
he's
he able?
traveling
he
though.
bonded out in California. That's first. Second, they said it was a clerical error. He actually bonded out on 50,000, but Empire the Esquire said that the 1,000 could be because he cried indigent to the court. Indigent meaning he ain't got no money.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah, I
then
don't
but
think
then
he's traveling though, cause he been
but
looking
then
in
he
the
goes
same
to make
The
all
clothes.
these
same
small
parking lot
rules.
by the beach
Yep, same
for the last
clothes,
week and
no
a half.
chains.
But then so then why so let me ask you something. So then how is it smart for him? This is Amber asked this question earlier. He's got all this smarts and all that. So here's an answer for you, Amber. This same guy, he he got out, okay, if I'm understanding this right, he plead poverty to the court and he got
Mm-hmm.
out on $1,000 bail, right? So
Yeah.
boom. Now this same guy who's supposed to be have all this smart, he goes online and he's making videos called Rolls Royce Diaries and showing off Rolls Royce and all this thing. Do you think that's not a slap in the judge's face? Do you think the
Yes, it
prosecutor
would
is
be.
not going to be?
But see, the fact of the
That's a
matter
slap
is,
in the
none of that
judge's
stuff
face.
belongs to him. That
No, but it
Rolls
doesn't.
Royce is Money Mayweather's. That's his gross
No, but
yacht.
no, I understand that. It doesn't matter, even if it's not his. The point
Remember
that
when they
instead of
took
him
50 Cent to
remain
court
silent.
and 50 Cent was like, I'm broke for real. That was fake money. That was rented money. And this, that, or the other. That's basically what Polite be doing.
No, no, what I'm trying to say is, as smart as people think he is, he's dumb because even if it's not his, the judge is gonna look at this like not only if okay, forget about it not being his.
He ain't even
He's not
smart
even
though.
taking the freaking charges seriously. It's like, yo, you are being charged for this fucking crime of raping and you're not even taking this seriously. You're showing yourself on Rolls Royce,
No,
showing your
what he's
sneakers.
doing right now, what he's doing right now is a front. He's putting on because he still has to raise money. If you know anything about Polite, before this case came out, His website did not have that big disclaimer on it now that says all sales are final, no refunds, non-negotiable, and all this stuff in big back letters. And he's also on there showing fake things from where people supposedly done made so much money from him. That's a hustle. That's his only hustle, and he has to fall back on his hustle. And in order to do that, he has to do the things that he's been doing. See, this whole build up, nobody knew about this, so he was gathering money. That's the retainer right there for Ross and Law Firm. So now he got to continue to get money to pay that lawyer. You see?
I understand I understand what you're saying. I was just making the answering to what Amber had asked earlier.
Yeah.
Like he's so smart, he speaks all these languages. But the
He
point
don't
I'm
speak
just making is
verified
he
language.
can do his hustle. Like he can do his hustle. But why show and brag? Hey, I'm still in my Rolls Royce. You see me? I'm still wearing the Farragut, whatever it is called, the glasses, Farragut, whatever
That's
it's
just a
called,
front.
Gamma.
He just front.
And no,
He has to
I
keep
know
up the
that.
persona like he's gonna
Yeah.
win this case.
Yeah.
Because then people are gonna feel confident sending him that money because they're not sending donations, they're buying packages from him.
Wow.
You know, so once he gets all this money, he done put that all sales final up, so they can't ask for their money back this time. That money is for that lawyer. If you
Wow.
look close
Wow.
at them videos, like the one where he was in the car, that 40-some minute video where he was in the car, the longer that video went on, he started sitting up there sounding like a boy going through change. Then at one point, he almost beat his head against the car window and he was about to cry.
I saw that. I saw
He
that.
blocked me, so I couldn't see none of that stuff because I was putting hashtag cancel brother polite.
Upload it.
I
But
never went to his channel. I see
was
it on
live
other
while he
people's
did
channel.
it. But Lord, he looked like he was about to cry. He was holding in them tears, and his voice was
eyes were
cracking worse than a little 12-year-old choir boy. It was awful. It was just, oh Lord, it did something to my spirit. I said,
It's almost
Lord
like
Jesus, they got him. They got him.
The S word. He was like he gonna do something to himself. I didn't did all this and I
Yeah, they talk about suicide. Polite ain't gonna kill himself. His ego too big.
Yep.
Look, and see, I say that was the problem with this whole thing. The first time it came out, he should have been canceled, point blank, period. But they allowed this to keep building up and building up.
Yes.
First Riot, then Renintech, you know, and now it's been built up to this point. Now, boom, we get to this point, and he done sexually assaulted this 14-year-old girl.
And then don't nobody want to talk about him. They want to put stuff on everybody else and lie.
That's why I've been focusing on his scamming ass. Let's talk about him. You want to see here? You want to see there? The more you look, the more dots you connect.
So everybody won't talk about him.
Peace to the kitten whisperer. How you doing, sis?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
But I'm gonna go on mute for a sec. I have to powder my nose real quick.
Hey.
Peace, sis. We talking about women who have been through the same things like the little girl. Did you want to share anything?
Not at the moment. I'm eating. I'm gonna share though.
Okay. So yeah, it's crazy to me, like I say, how grown men are hiding it. And if you're hiding it, it makes me think that you're doing it too. Because I don't care what you have on someone, you can't hide nothing like that unless you in there dabbling too.
And you don't want them to tell on you. So
exactly.
You want to throw it off on somebody else so they, pay attention on them. And then you want to lie about it. That's my whole thing. If it's true, it's true. But if you just sitting there lying and piecing putting stuff together, photoshopping it,
Can't even spell.
Can't even spell. If
You gotta be the dumbest criminal.
Them people over there dumb.
And if I was solar man, I will file charges. I'm sorry, I will file charges on their ass.
Yeah, they dumb.
Lawsuit or whatever you got to do, I will file and get some money from their ass.
They is so dumb. Like you can't even see that wasn't even right.
No, they was moving too fast off anger and hate. They was moving too fast.
the depths of it, the depths of the evil in it is what gets me. That's what hits my soul. It's like it takes time to sit down and alter documents, and you understand what I'm saying? That's an evil person. That's an evil. That's what the scripture, when it talks about evil spirits, it's the evil spirits are the spirits of man, the spirit that is within them to do the deeds that they do. That's the spirit it keeps warning us about. Not no evil floating in invisible spirit. It's the spirit of man. And so the time it takes these people to sit down and not only do it, but then to upload it and then to regurgitate it, to go live and then putting this. And these are the same people who are talking about they're black conscious and it's all about the black man.
They
Black
ain't
man
con-
is king and
they
all
conscious,
this.
they
And,
just scammers.
and
Ain't
they
nothing conscious
fearing
about.
each. But you know what they're doing? They actually, what I see, what the scripture is doing, the Most High is having them expose each other. People are telling each other now, I don't care if you're the president, I don't care who you are, you're the baseman, you're the bum on the street. Everybody is, if people are not telling on them, they are telling on
They telling
themselves.
on
That's what we're
themselves.
witnessing. We're witnessing this now. So for me, I'm not upset at it. I'm like involved. I'm like, I want to hear. You know, you got to stay involved to see. So because we're more alert and we can teach our kids better, guide them better. You know, like this is what's going on. That's why I stay in tune with all this stuff. I'm too old for this shit, to tell you the truth. But I stay in tune because I have grandchildren. And I have to guide them and let them know, oh, this is the new slang words, and watch out for this slang word. And you know, it's just staying alert.
Well, I'm
But
IT, and I know
that's
the threat
evil.
that you
That's
can find
evil.
online.
What you say, sis? I hear you.
I'm a IT, so I know the threats that you can find online. So I'm always, looking for new stuff just to make sure that my kids aren't into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's true.
And then the girl lying on him. Oh, he tried to he tried to talk to my daughter. Why didn't you say that at the beginning? All
Who
of a sudden,
said that?
whatever the one that's with Sinetta, his wife. What's her name?
Oh, girl, we gonna get on her in a minute. Hopa.
Yeah.
Her name is Hopa over here.
Ooh, that's Cesar Chavez. Oh, not Cesar Chavez. Juan Valdez's granddaughter.
Good
Definitely
luck.
Hopa.
She is the descendant of that bag of coffee beans on the back of that donkey.
Mm.
But that's another story.
Lord, yes.
She
But
handed down the
okay,
power past
ladies,
president. No, Terrence Trent D'Arby.
we're gonna wait for Nyla so she could touch on the situation before we move too far ahead. But yeah, I definitely myself, like I say, been in that situation. I feel so bad for the little girl and her life ahead, what she have to go through, and the people that know her, and even kids. Kids are cool now. You know, they'll be talking about her, and
Hopefully her mother will continue to protect her and is able to protect her, because her face isn't known on social media. They don't even know the little girl name.
yeah.
So I'm trying to keep it that way.
Well, who said why
And
they said that they had
I
some
would
pictures
encourage
of her?
other content creators to do the same. We know who the mother is. Just don't mention her name. The victim's mother is enough, because
Right.
Well,
people
why
in
they
they
saying that
rush
they
to
got
get some
pictures of her?
subs, they putting anything up on
Girl,
their page.
everybody's trying to make money,
But this
views,
is a
all that
serious
stuff.
thing. This is before the courts of Miami-Dade. This isn't a joke. This really happened to this 14-year-old child. And like I told everybody at the start, don't let them sacrifice this little girl on the altar of polite like they did the last time. What was it? It was half the Eventbrite that didn't go where it was supposed to go. So Sinetta was gonna tell it all. And then when he got his money, all of a sudden he got amnesia.
I see you unmuted, sis. You want to say something? Kid Whisper.
Oh, hey guys, hey ladies, how you guys doing? Charze glitches. You're smoking on dead ops and stuff.
I'm smoking on them dead ops now.
Hurricane, right? That's so. Every time I read, I'm telling you, I die inside every time I read your name. Sister Devonia and CCCTV. How you guys doing?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Peace to you.
Peace. I think we all like. I personally have had a situation happen to me, and happened to my daughter. I don't really want to go into it right now, but it happened, and I couldn't even imagine having to deal with this from the perspective that the mother and the daughter are dealing with it. What happened to us, it happened with my daughter. It happened at the same time. It happened to us at the same exact time. And it was traumatic enough to have to go through that and have to talk about it. And, reiterated to the police, reiterated to detectives and all that kind of stuff. And even just, trying to cope and go through that on my own and then try to help her through it. It was tough. Not on my own, but just in my own head, if you know what I mean. So imagining this girl, because she's old enough to be exposed to social media and seeing all of these people discuss it from the perspective that they're discussing it. That's been my whole worry since the very beginning. Like, you guys are basically calling the little girl a liar. You're also, I see a lot of people making it more about her and her mother than they do actually polite. I see, and the fact that this happens and it's so prevalent in our community that we all know someone, if it's not us, that's happened to, right? It's so prevalent that there's somebody that is thinking about speaking out right now that's not going to speak based on how they're watching this stuff play out. They see who they're covering for, they see who they're caping for. I think it's completely disgusting. And this is why this stuff, it just breeds a whole bunch of contempt and secrecy. This is why people don't tell. Most people never tell when this kind of stuff happens, and this is why. And then you a lot of times men don't understand it completely. And it's so problematic, the whole thing. And then the shit that he's doing now, he's gonna need that legal team. He's gonna need that legal team, because you cannot just go around labeling people with stuff like this. I think he thinks that everybody's broke or something. My problem is the people who talk shit most of the time don't have no money. But like, he needs to take back the lies that he said, because somebody, if not me, is going to sue him. He needs to take that back. He put Solar's name up there with sex offender. You cannot do that. Like, just to blatantly lie on people like that, all because
It's a class action lawsuit.
It's ridiculous. And literally,
knowing it wasn't true.
He started this. Like, he literally made this. He made it into what it is. It did not have to be like that. All he had to do,
a mudslinging campaign, basically.
It's worse than that. It's even worse than that. It reminds me of the whole. Y'all remember Kanika Jenkins, right?
Lord.
Okay, this is what I want you to think about with that, though. It's not the same thing, right? But the same concepts are being played out. And when I say that, I mean this whole online investigation and trivializing a horrible situation that involved a girl until the point it turns into a witch hunt. And everybody's at the party now. And he's making it to where nobody's talking about the actual situation like that. They're only talking about him. He's sitting up there lying on Solar, altering records, which I saw day one. Remember, Katrina, I told you, I could tell. We saw day one.
Yeah, dumbass bitch can't even spell.
You go through that much lengths basically to cover up from somebody else. All of this drama that he's getting, all this trash that he's doing, he asked for it. Just think about it. All he did was get asked a question. And we went live and we responded based on his response. And in return, you dox people, you lie on people, you alter documents, and then you go behind the scenes plotting on people, all because of somebody asking you straight up about something that serious. He started it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have Solar on because I don't think enough people realize that those documents were altered.
Yep.
And even to have her sitting up there talking about somebody did something to your child. Well, bitch, why we just now find out then? Like it's too many horrible things that happen to little girls and to women at the hands of men that are fucked up for you to play those type of games. Because this, I mean, and then to make us all out to look like we lying and crying wolf all the time. Like that shit is foul.
That was
Or
evil,
the one
girl.
person that lied about a sexual assault is probably 100 that didn't. So don't sit up there and try to take that exception and make it the rule.
Right. Well, who's doing that?
That's the generalization.
Yeah, they
That's
don't need
the
to
first
be doing
thing
that.
they said. Well, I know somebody did such and such and such, so they couldn't have possibly did that to her. Okay, what does that have to do with this particular case? It happened to you, and I'm sorry it happened that way, but obviously it didn't happen that way for her.
Obviously, he don't have no goddamn PR team. Cause this is a stupid motherfucker. Like to sit up there and put that shit up on that screen in front of everybody and act like nobody could see it. This shit is scandalous. And like, here, peep game. This is how fucked up it is. So you're trying to act like you really care about rape charges and sexual assault against women and children, right? But let me tell you where he stepped on his own foot 50 times since then. So you didn't want to separate from polite at first outright until basically the panel that we did forced him to say something after he cussed out all of these women, drugged children, and did all that. So then that's the same night that Judah, whatever that nigga's name is, said that he was gonna have me raped. Then the next day you have him on. Then that same the next day he does a live stream. Do you know he shouted out another dude that we have a video up where he threatened to rape me, right? Then all of the other people that he's shouting out, these people have literally done the same stuff or something similar, like grooming children. Like he surrounded himself with people that do that. He don't give a fuck about that stuff. And then he's using this shit to say somebody's trying to take him down. Who the fuck is trying to take him down? He started all of this drama based on being asked a question that he didn't want to man up on. Like that dude, he's an old bitch.
For real. And this gonna bring us into talking about. Go ahead, Devanya.
No, I was gonna say, according to him, Nyla, somebody he was referring it to like, oh, it was Soleimani did this and Soleimani did this and Soleimani did that. And when he was challenged with, but yo, didn't you say you were gonna get your sister to rape somebody else? He's saying, I was just speaking, I didn't mean it. I'm not gonna physically do it, bro. You're basically saying you're gonna go and rape somebody with somebody else's finger or somebody else's, penis. Let's keep it real. You're threatening somebody with rape, but he was trying to make an excuse like, oh, me threatening somebody like that is not the same thing as a solo, but nobody's talking about the polite incident. But go ahead.
Okay. So basically, like I said earlier, I wanted to do this for women so we could talk about situations and women won't be scared to tell their story. This not gonna be the last one, so we can keep on talking about it. But if anybody want to say something, last words on it, because we about to get into the bullshit.
I was gonna do a reading tonight, but it's already 11. But I ain't got to work tomorrow.
Okay, so now we're gonna start talking about Hopa, Judah, and all this. So first, Judah, I'll start with Soleimani. I would, like I say, I would definitely do a lawsuit or something on them because they've been slandering his name. He put his case out, which I've been saying, if I didn't rape a motherfucker, why are you all in my business? Then with them saying I'm gonna say something about anger. If a lot of you don't know, my son, my only child, James, he committed suicide from being bullied at age 14. I started a foundation for it and everything, and we've been doing that. When my son passed away, one of the neighbors, he was friends. She had two boys. They was friends with him, but they was a little bit older than him. I think one may have been 2 grades above, one was one. Um, when he passed away, one of his friends came in the house and she said the boy name, and she said he gave me this letter that James wrote me. I say letter, so she started reading the letter. But as she's reading it and me not being in my right mind, I'm like, he holding letters. That's the only thing I could process. What do you mean he holding letters? So they've been talking about it. He knew about it. I took off. I didn't care about how old he was. I didn't care about none of that. I took off on him, and it took grown people to hold me. Because I'm like, what do you mean you're holding letters and you call me mom and, stuff like that? You could have came and told me. So in Solar's defense, I understand anger. At that moment, you're not even thinking right. And I had to apologize to him later and everything, but in that moment, I didn't care. Um, so I want to say that part about that because they keep saying it like, and it's clearly saying he didn't rape nobody. So why you keep trying to do that to him?
He didn't even sexually assault anybody. It turned out to be a simple assault, right?
Yes. Yes.
Simple assault
So
has nothing to do with sex.
Yeah, you
Not
can say
only
something
that.
verbal to
Now,
somebody
see,
and
I
make
don't
a
see how
simple
Sinetta
assault.
trying to chart that out, and he got a higher simple assault charge than Solar got. That's what I
Yeah,
don't
what a
understand.
drug charge
right,
he got.
like it
But
really didn't make sense to me.
His is assault
I
with a
think
weapon.
what we should stress, what we should start stressing, what is being missed is this was Solomon's sister's house, husband. So people are looking at it like it's some stranger, like he didn't know these people and all that. He knew these people. This was
Okay,
the
now.
sister. You understand what I'm saying? That was beating, abusing his sister, and
Mhm.
so we keep missing that point. People are trying to look at it like it's some strange girl. No, he was in the heat of the moment, and we have all been there where I've done that with my own mother one
Right, and
time,
she
and
knew him,
I
so that's
can't
why she
express
opened
that.
the door because that was his sister-in-law. However, his
Exactly.
niece, so she knew him. That's why she opened the door.
He omitting
Sure,
facts to make
exactly.
shit look worse than it is. That's his usual
Exactly.
ploy.
So we'll jump to Judah. Judah is a bitch ass nigga. Now me
No,
and
don't call him
Judah,
a bitch. Don't do that.
I
me
call
and
bitches
Don't do
Judah,
that,
bitches
no,
sis.
no,
too.
no, no, hold on.
Don't do that,
Me
sis.
and
No.
Judah used to be
You're
cool.
giving bitches a
Devanya,
bad
hold on a
name.
second. Hold on. Me and
Giving bitches
Judah,
a bad name. Bitches
me
are
and
better.
Judah was cool, right? Just like with the Rob situation, he letting the pa, or I say whole pa, come in and fuck that up. I've never been going on panels and all that. Okay, I'm gonna start y'all with this. Some of y'all who may not know me, like I'm Suave Boss girlfriend. When Suave left, he was in Solar Vision Debate League or whatever. When he left because he got cheated in a debate, when he came back, she was listening to other people. I'll say that. And as he talked, she would interrupt him, call him names, do all this. So I couldn't take it. I listened to it so many times, I couldn't take it. So I started saying stuff to her in the chat. Shut up, ho, let him talk, stuff like that. So it carried on, carried on. And Judah said somebody talked about his kid. My son was talked about. My son was put in battle raps. You hear me? My son was talked about. Your child was not talked about.
Nobody said nobody's child. Just say your child ain't black. Your child mixed. How is that talking about
Exactly.
your child?
Exactly. So, in all of that, he went to put me in the back chat or whatever for her. So now, fuck you. Shit, I don't give a fuck. I don't have to go on your channel, and I never like I don't do this. This is not I'm not a YouTuber or whatever. But I'll go in and out. I see Suave on stuff. But yeah, like I say, he was bogus for talking about Nyla, and
Yeah, he was really bogus by talking about it. You don't know nothing about Nolly. You listen to what Suge said. Suge is a pedophile his own self.
yeah, and Hope High is just like any girl you see in the hood. She get niggas killed, and that's all I gotta say
She
about
been
that.
trying to get me, and she was over there when I got with over there on B1. She was over there in Ren's channel trying to get a man. So she been doing that for a
How,
long time.
What
Yeah.
I
how
don't
long?
understand is she was
How
supposed
long
to
have
be
you
courting
ladies?
Solar. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask how long. I'm asking you, ladies. When was the first interaction? How long ago that when you met, when you first came into contact with her?
I say about
Myself, it
2 years
was
ago for
2000.
me.
A couple of months.
Myself was 2019.
You said a couple of months. That's crazy.
Yeah, she
You
was
said
over
a
there
couple of
with us
months?
in
Yeah, I say 2
Oh,
2018.
years
okay.
for me. So
2018 when we was
Okay,
over
yeah.
there. So she was over there in the chat trying to get a man then. So she been going from man to man on
but once she tried to prove to me her and Solar was together and got dumped on live, I
she
thought
was
she was
bad.
gone out my life.
She was
But
bad.
now I'm hearing her back around. So yeah, it's she a mess.
No,
That's all I can
She
say.
just
They
she
used on
is
one point.
Jezebel. She's a Jezebel for real.
So
Yeah.
she dated all these many
And I always try to talk about somebody.
men.
I always
but
looking
this is,
fucking confused and shit.
But then
but the
she
thing,
recording Solar. Then she dropped Solar for Judah, or just Solar
the
dropped her
echoing,
for
sis,
Judah. And
the
then Judah
echoing.
went, and then she went from Judah to Sinetta. But then Judah followed her over to Sinetta. Why would you go to the man that you say stole your almost wife?
For cloud chasing. He's the cloud chaser. He calls everybody a cloud chaser, but he is the cloud chaser. He doesn't have temper. He tried to teach the temple man. And if anybody, if God has put in wisdom on you to be a teacher and all that, God would have gave somebody who was more disciplined. Discipline in language, discipline in tongue, and you're supposed to love your people, not
And he then be
chastise them
throwing
and
up
have other
a
nations
little
on your channel
unbelievable
chastising
emojis
us.
on.
He's a drunk and he act retarded. He act like he's retarded. Like it's just something wrong with him.
Why do y'all think all the high power? Why do y'all think all the fuck niggas get the high power?
Cause they ain't got
Mhm.
no real job, so they
They
got
ain't got
time
no
to sit
job.
Because
on
this is
YouTube
their
all day.
time. This is their time. Let them get it.
No, they ain't got no real job. You see,
Everybody else go to work from 9 to 5. We tired. We tired, boss.
That's right. That's right.
But they ain't. They ain't got nothing to do all
That's
day.
and I
that's
work
right.
I work at a children's hospital. I work in the lab. I work in blood bank. But then we get tested in there where girls have to take a pregnancy test to see if they pregnant 9, 12, 13.
Mm. Wow.
That's sad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it is.
I
Real
work
sad.
construction. I work in construction. So a lot
Yeah,
of
and
these
people do
guys,
like
like you
to be
see,
entertained. Before they like to be informed, they like to be entertained.
what do they want? We ain't about to strip for them. I don't know. What do they want? I'm too old for that.
I'm over there talking about polite. Somebody gonna tell me to cam up so they can see what I look like. Why does it matter? We talking about a potential predator.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And then she talking about her naked picture. Quit sending naked pictures to people, and then you wouldn't have to worry about them getting out nowhere. Why is you
She sat
sending
up there
naked
and
pictures
lied on FOPA and said that Solar Mine sent them pictures.
when she
Now
did it
you sent
herself?
Elder Quinoff them pictures. You sent all these people them pictures. And now you want to say somebody sexually assaulting you. Why? Because you didn't get the reaction that you thought? Because
Mm-hmm.
the man you wanted said he ain't never seen no fish like that before? Is that why? Are you mad because they talking about your bad built body ass?
Sis, you know what?
Shit,
Ask
sad.
Solomon. Ask Solomon for tapes from 2019. I had an experience
Lavanya,
with
I've
this
been trying to
woman.
get that from him. You know,
I
Q
had an
deleted his
experience.
videos or something, so he said he looking. He not sure if he got it on backup.
She got
Yeah.
me
What
at I
myself,
called her a side
myself
piece.
and other ladies had an experience with her, and from that point back then, I said I was telling all the, I have a couple of ladies I still keep in touch with, and it's like, yo, this is a demon. This is a witch. Y'all better watch out for this woman.
That's
And
a
here it is,
Jezebel.
2 years later. 2 years later, everybody is starting to see exactly. I
She
saw this thing from
Jezebel.
the
She's the
beginning.
real
Like,
Jezebel.
yeah, yeah. It's not, they're not hard to spot if we are being real with ourselves. If we keep it real, a lot of the times, perverts and woman abusers and man abusers and whatever you want to call it, they're not hard to spot a lot of the times if we just keep it real. Sometimes we humble ourselves. We're feeling lonely. We want to get we just need a little love and tender care, as humans. And we just let anybody in the door, and we can't do that anymore. We can't do that, especially with our children. We can't do that. No, we get code them that, not going back to the old days of, hey, knock, da, 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 have a secret code of knocking, all of that. If we have to, because this is the life we're living now, the next door neighbor, my son, my baby son, when I was in the third grade, next thing you know, we got the whole news and everything. I come and was like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. There was a guy who his twin daughters were in my son's class. He was in the third grade at this point. They were in my son's class, and come to find out, he's all over the news. They busted him in his house. He had all kind of mass weapons. He was actually working with the I think Al Qaeda or whatever, that other branch, and he had all kind of weapons and bombs already set to do a lot of destructions. And I was like, that freaked me out. So I took my son out to school and I started homeschooling. I homeschooled for 4 years because it's like, yo, it's like you don't even know who's who. It could be right next door to you. So again, we have to just we as adults, we can say, yeah, we're gonna tell our kids to pay attention, but a lot of times we miss a lot of things because we're not paying attention. We only know the what information we have in our head. Oh, look, the both there. Don't do this, don't do that. But a lot of us adults, sometimes we're so busy trying to work and keep things going that we miss a lot of the things that we try to teach our kids. So we now have to stay more alert on these things. And the more we stay alert, the more we can keep our kids them alert and warn them, and so they can stay alert. So it's better to it's better for them to be alert than having to train them to defend themselves or to know what's is. Stay alert. That's the prevention first. Prevention. That's what I think we need to start. Maybe coming up with ideas. Of prevention before it happens. I'll mute.
Okay, ladies, this was beautiful. This is my first time, like I said. I really enjoyed y'all. I'm glad y'all came on with me and had me by myself.
No
We
problem.
definitely gonna do this again because I like sitting in this seat. Anything y'all want to say? Well, I hope they nail that bastard. That's what I'm gonna say. That's my last thought on it.
I hope they put him under the ground. Shoot.
He needs an underground cell like his spiritual daddy.
For
I
real.
hope everyone like him and everyone join to him and who are like him. I hope they all go down very hard.
Yeah.
And Katrina, thank you so much for starting this. I think this is excellent. I see, according to the comments in the chat, a lot of people, even the men, a lot of men are commenting like, "This is great. This is needed."
Yeah, I'm
So
definitely
thank you
glad that
so
happened.
much.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much, and
y'all.
ladies.
We gonna keep our foot on their neck.
We sure
That's right.
live.
Keep the momentum going while we got it. Let's keep
Yeah,
the
but we can.
momentum going and go ahead and push it right on out the community because we don't need none of it. We don't need magic spoons, magic forks, magic water, magic herbs. We don't need no
Mhm.
special clothes. They ain't did nothing but make you itch yet. You know, support black businesses, yes, but support people that make stuff like toothbrushes and toothpaste and toilet paper, stuff we need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
we
don't need
definitely
no more kids
gonna
hurt. We don't need no more kids hurt. No kids.
No kids hurt in the process of any of this. No
yeah, we
kids.
definitely gonna do it again. We gonna have a hurricane hour with the women.
See
It was
something,
nice
say
meeting
something.
you.
You too, and y'all have a good night.
All
You as
right.
well.
Bye bye.
Hey, lady.
I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated.